Hey YouTube, Chris here again. Sorry, stream died in the middle of it. I had just started a game against Motherwell.
Well, that's a good
I
challenge
had already
between the two of them
discussed Josh Norman signing with Washington Redskins on a 5-year, $75 million contract, $50 million guaranteed. I went over the playoff basketball games that were tonight, where Cleveland won by 10 over Detroit, 101-91. Atlanta lost to Boston, 111 to 103, and the Spurs are up on Memphis, which was predictable, in the fourth quarter. I didn't watch any baseball today, so if there's any games and anyone comes to the stream, please let me know, because I didn't watch any baseball today. Let's talk a little bit of wrestling real quick. China from the WWE has passed away at 47. Nothing but praise for China as far as the wrestling life goes. She gave women an opportunity in an era where they were going for TNA to be a legitimate wrestler. She actually paved the way. Well, she didn't pave the way. There's other women before her, but she definitely set the bar higher in wrestling. Her personal life was ridiculed by many because of drug addictions and movies that she probably shouldn't have been part of with ex-boyfriends. Interviews that you can hear about her or with her and her ex-boyfriend, X-Pac, Sean Waltman, say that they have buried the hatchet before she passed. Sean was attempting to just say, hey, it's over. Let's just forget about it, but some of the things that, I think her first name is Joanne, but we'll call her China for this conversation, had been saying about Sean Waltman were untrue, and he just wanted to bury the hatchet. It sounded like they had come to amends before her passing, which is great. You wouldn't want someone who is recovering from an addiction like Sean Waltman to slip into a reoccurrence because of a tragic loss like this. But condolences go out to anyone that was friends, family of China, and there'll probably never ever be someone like her as far as physical presence and natural ability goes. So, in other kind of sports news, Prince had passed a couple days ago as well. I know one of the streamers I follow, SGU Sports, is from Minnesota, and he was talking about how weird it was to hear about this because he was one of them. As a 30-year-old, in my 30s, I can appreciate the music Prince produced, and I was always a fan of When Doves Cry. I don't care if that can be challenged by anyone. It was a great song. He made a lot of great music. I was always so surprised to hear how short Prince was, but I guess it doesn't matter how tall you are when you can produce the music that came out of that guitar and the voice and the look. He's just you want to talk about another revolutionary person in the industry that they worked in. Prince, definitely. So cap off to him as he goes into his next life or what have you. Since his passing, I've obviously been watching a lot of the sports stations, and they showed his halftime performance in the rain at, I believe, Super Bowl 41. Man. Wow. It's hard to think that, because there's some musicians now that you can't even imagine singing when it's wet, and he just killed it. But so again, to friends and family of the artist Prince, our condolences from my end. He's never going to go away. His music's timeless. People will continue to always listen to his music. But let's try to put a positive. You know, let's try to get some positives. You know, whenever people pass, there's always some, you know, hope somewhere for someone else, and we're not going to dwell on it too long. We can't. So we'll go back to. We'll try to transition back to sports if we can. And I think right now, obviously in NFL, it's the Josh Norman signing is a big deal. Is it as impactful? Well, it's pretty impactful because Des Bryant and ODB. Wow, there's another guy that's not with us anymore that made some killer music, if I may say so myself. But Odell Beckham are in the same division. Got to have someone to cover him. And now you do, and it's just what happens at this point. You know, can he live up to the money? Statistically, analytically, he doesn't live up to the money. Washington doesn't improve that much more with Josh Norman at corner. Analytically speaking, that's usually how that goes.
The assistant could not miss it.
But it could pose to be beneficial. I just don't know if it's going to be worth $15 million a year. These are usually the contracts that teams end up regretting before it's said and done. But I won't say I told you so, but I did say that if he made this trip, he's likely going to go. And I said it was going to be an East Coast team because he's from Carolina. I gave you good reason. He's not going to want to move any of his family or be away from his family, and that these are all going to be reasons that it was going to be an East Coast team. He picked an East Coast team. He didn't pick a team in the NFC South, so I think he did Carolina a favor because he could have screwed them pretty hard and just immediately went to Atlanta, but he didn't. He's still in the NFC, so he could stop Carolina from going back to the Super Bowl. But I don't know how I feel if he can or will. So, yeah. I guess what we'll do, I'll do now is I'll try to get myself to a baseball, some baseball information. I don't know what happened today in baseball, like I said. So, if there's any interesting storylines, I'm more than willing to go over them. I'm not trying to be Sports Center light, but I do want to review what happened in sports for the day because it's a fun hobby to, you know, it's fun to keep up. I mean, there's other things I can talk about that aren't sports related and I can get into, but I want to make sure that I cover all my topics in sports before I leave because I don't want to have to come back and sound like an idiot. Let's see. There was a triple play turn this week today. Yeah, that's okay. Nothing. I mean, it's baseball. Like I said in a stream before, it's 162 games for each team. You're not going to have highlights out every day. Ellsbury stole home. Apparently, that's important to somebody. It's important to the league because to be able to still have players that can do that is, you know, keeps the excitement of the stolen home plate. You know, that we just had Jackie Robinson Day and stuff, and reflect on the stealing home, which is good. Well, I guess until either I get someone in chat that wants to talk about some sports stuff, we'll talk about some other things, some other happenings. And I do have a topic along the lines of role-playing that I'd like to discuss because it's an issue. I mean, it may not be an issue for me right now, but it's an issue in general. And it's the teamwork in a D&D group. If you bring 4 strangers together at a table and then ask them to have 4 characters that get along, and then don't really push the teamwork aspect, you're never going to get it. And furthermore, if you have people that are in your group that don't get along, why would they make their characters get along? You know, it's just, it doesn't work out like that. Teamwork across the board in role-playing games and sports, so important. I know that in the past I've had trouble getting groups together because we can't make a team. We have well, I have a story. I told you guys in one of my first videos, one of my first streams, I was in a Star Wars roleplay RPG. I was a Jedi. I was a Cather, which is a cat person Jedi. And we were meeting up on this island, not an island, a planet that was basically ran by criminal organizations. The whole reason was, like, I was supposed to give the other players insight to a job that no one would have known about, and then they could have just simply been like, how'd you know that? And I was like, I'm a Jedi, I know things. And then they asked me to come with them. Having a Jedi in the story was kind of a threat because Jedis were being hunted, but their skills were well known. The captain of the ship was a android. And immediately, I had to barter to get my way onto the boat. Bartering's fine with me. I give a price, you let me on the boat. It's a one-time deal at the end of it. But what he wanted was me to sign a contract to be a crew member on his ship. And where this stems from is a previous D&D campaign that we had played in, where basically the whole group of people became sky pirates, and each individual person in the group ended up becoming captain of his own boat. And this player was, I don't know if they're power hungry. I don't want to say they're power hungry. They're a good person, but they did want me to be a crew member. And I stopped the campaign because we had just did this and it caused more trouble than it was worth in the D&D campaign. And I was like, can't we just realistically just get together and do this campaign and, you know, all be good guys and not have the issues of, you know, like everyone's a hero in their own story. I get that, but I wanted everyone to be legitimate heroes. And I was kind of offended that 2 campaigns in a row, I was basically ultimatumed.
It was a really poor performance from him.
So, and they're gonna, if you ever hear from any of the people that I played with, they won't say that the first one was, but I can give you a counter argument to it, but it's not worth getting into right now. But let's just, it's a teamwork thing. Creating an opportunity for me to join the group without me having to sign my life to you just makes the story go better. Especially considering the Jedi I was playing, that I had made very apparent that everyone okayed. I was playing a gray Jedi. Neutral. Well, neutral in the sense that they wanted balance, not neutral in the sense that they didn't fight. Although my guy initially was going to be one who didn't take to the offense, defended himself, and then in his parries, disarmed, quite literally, his opponent, but never brought the fight to anyone. And that was the case until he was captured and he was encaged. And it partially was my fault, partially was not my fault, and I'll explain why. Our session started, and usually we run between 3.5 to 4 hours. And we've almost always never have a problem with this. So this is not one of those things where it's like it was continuous and I got upset. It's a one-time occurrence, but everyone was upset about it. So, you know, I flipped the script a little bit. About 30 minutes into the session, I'm captured. And not a single thing was addressed to me for another 2 hours. And when they brought me in for after 2 hours, The first thing they said was I was in a box. They asked me what I wanted to do, and then they moved on to the next group again. Ultimately, it led to me, when I got out of the box, Chris, the guy playing the character, was so mad that Nasu, my Jedi, was mad. And he went out of character and started going on the offensive. Granted, he went on the offensive and wrecked. I cleared the whole ship, set it self-destruct, you know, got a little bit of loot, went on my merry way without my team being there. They got to watch, but they were very happy with how the results were. But that's a scenario where the teamwork, you need the additional person that your team never expects to have, and that's the DM. Like, as a DM, you've got to step in and make sure that your entire team's happy. And it's one of the problems with role-playing games is you're gonna slip and you're gonna make one person happy and not the rest of them, or a majority but not all. And if you're gonna be a perfect DM, you got to try to get everybody. And in this scenario, I was one of the newer guys at the table. Not new to role-playing, but new to these group of people. So it was understanding that giving me as much storyline or solo experience or what have you, was a little bit more complicated. And I hold no grudges to that. But since we're on that story, and I'm doing a venting, and the venting is therapeutical to me, therapeutic, not therapeutical, I'll discuss what happened after. There was the possibility that I wasn't going to be able to make it on the days that we were playing our campaigns. I had addressed to them that though that was the case, I was going to try everything in my power to get there and be there same day of the week as much as I could. And if I couldn't, if there was a way we could work it to a different day that it could work for me, I'd love to stay in the group. Less than a week later, I'm getting ready to go to the next session. One of the DMs, there was a dual DM for a Star Wars game, and one of them had decided that he wanted to run it solo. So I asked him about if I had to remake a character, or if I could just continue to use Nasu. To which I was told that I wasn't in the group because I said that I wasn't going to be able to play. Now, understanding that it could have been a miscommunication at that point, I was upset, and I tried explaining my way through it. I didn't necessarily think they were going to tell me that I could play again, but I was expecting a little bit more courtesies than, well, I moved on without you, the end. That's fine. Again, they'd known me for a couple months at this point. They owe me nothing. I got to play. Most of them are good people. I do have an issue with the person that kicked me out of the group, and I'm about to tell you why. Another person that was in our group, when I joined, was actively already discussing the fact that he couldn't play any other day of the week.
It will be a corner.
Well, there was a specific day he couldn't play, but it would be a little bit more complicated to him to play any other day of the week, but he could try. But there was one day specifically he couldn't. And it just so happened in the same week, we had, him and I, had found out that the DM and the other players had agreed to move their entire campaign to the day that he couldn't play as well. So now I was told by the DM I couldn't play at all, and this player was forced out because of the date. And it sounds like I'm being, kind of a conspiracy nut or nothing, but the lack of loyalty and trust is there, and you could tell. And again, it's a
I have to say,
teamwork
it's
thing.
so one-sided today, but all credit to the team that are racking up
As
the
someone
goals.
who's DM'd and played,
And the decision
you
for the
bend
added
over
time is
backwards
3
to try to
minutes.
make people in your group
Pearson.
happy. And a DM that's not willing to do that usually ends up being the DM that, well,
Closed him
to be
down well,
frank,
the cross
is
doesn't come
kicks
in,
the guy
good
out of the
defending.
group because he may or may not be able to be there. But neither is confirmed.
To Morris.
Was I upset? Yeah. The bigger problem to me in that scenario was that no one from the group sided with me, and
Leslie.
yeah, the smallest violin in this scenario, but none of them,
brilliant performance
since
from
that,
this
none of them have been in contact with me. I don't exist to them. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, it was going to be complicated because I basically called the DM on his bullshit. And instead of just patching it over, I held a grudge. And I probably shouldn't hold a grudge, but I feel like it was shady, and I think it was done on purpose. And, you know, it's just, there was too many coincidences for it not to be done on purpose. So, I haven't been in a role-playing group since. I was supposed to be DMing a online game with friends from New York, but that's kind of, well, it's not happening right now. There was a lot of progress going forward that it was going to happen sooner than later, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen at all, which is fine. Again, people's life happens. I don't need to constantly. I think it's honestly, I think it's one of the reasons why the live stream is something that I've been doing, even though there hasn't been comments or likes, or I have no subscribers. I want to put stuff up because I feel like it's giving me an opportunity to vent when I need to. Granted, I also have been talking a lot about sports, but it gives me a reason to talk out loud, whereas I'm not just talking inside my head. You know, it's therapeutic, and it's interesting to see that, you know, people are watching, even if you're only watching for a couple of minutes of my stream to check out the beginning of my mock, and you look at my setup and you don't like it, you know, you're looking, and that's cool. Eventually someone's going to put it in the background and watch it and find, you know, maybe they'll have a counterpoint and I'll actually, you know, have a discussion in the live stream or through the message board or whatever. So that's cool. When we first got down here, I thought that maybe there was going to be a chance for me to do YouTube and maybe see where that went, but I like this setup. You guys can't see my face. You can hear my voice. You know, I stream I live stream it. When I'm done, an hour or so later, it goes up. YouTube puts it up, and I walk away from it. There's no editing on my part. There's no editing. There's no camera. There's nothing. All I gotta do is play the game. I play my game. I talk. That's it. And I'm happy with it. I'm appreciative of the people who even have opened my videos, but if you guys get a chance, watch them. There's a lot of me talking about things that I think, but there's a lot of content to talk about. I'd love to have someone bring up a counter to some of the points I've made about the NFL or the NBA or baseball or role-playing games or whatever. YouTube in general. For someone to tell me that they disagree and that we can have a discussion, that would be great. It's just giving me an opportunity to voice some things, and I'm enjoying it so far. With that said, while I was saying that, I did remember something that's kind of sad that's coming up that it should bring the YouTube role-playing community together, and that is the end of why can't I think of the group's name? the Provokers.
Proper clearance.
Is that the right group?
Well away from the danger zone.
The one that Matt Click is a fistful of dice is DMing. That is coming to an end.
They're in great form, aren't
There are
they?
16 sessions in it, or 16 episodes, 16 sessions, what have you. Storyline's coming to an end. It's an epic tale about war and the personalities behind war and weaving their way into war, and the players and Matt do a wonderful job of telling a great story. If anyone who's into role-playing that wants a great experience on how to role-play, how to intro a character, how to set up an environment, how to work through combat, and like sometimes you got to take a hit because it makes sense. These guys were really good at it, and individually they all have great channels. Tabletop Terrors, Tabletop Gaming with Juice, Be a Better Game Master, WASD 20. I think that's the team. That's the group, and then a Fistful of Dice. Matt Click is your DM. They're great. I think they're all working together now on some role-playing stuff too, as far as like a business. And I salute them because I was trying to make a tabletop RPG myself. It didn't work out, but these guys are pushing hard. For content, you guys are all the people that are watching this are YouTubers. And if you're into role-playing and you don't know about these guys, then you must be new to YouTube as well. So, but there's other guys in the community. PhD&D is really good. Joker is really good. Don Forgecast, despite his past with some issues that he had, that mostly YouTube is kind of either forgotten or ignores. He puts out good content.
Not a good challenge by the defender.
There's even some like gamers that are starting to put up YouTube stuff. I know that Pro Jared and Commander Holly are doing a campaign with Chris Perkins right now, or did a campaign with Chris Perkins. And the beginning of that story was so cool that I'm gonna rewatch the whole thing, or what's posted. For all of you guys that don't know, Commander Holly is Ross from the Game Grumps, Ross Donovan, Rubber Ninja, his wife, and she does cosplays, she does gaming. She has a really great series on Stardew Valley that's up right now. But she played in that campaign, and Pro Jared. The other two players both have YouTube accounts and did fine as characters. I don't follow them, so I don't know them as well. But Pro Jared is he does video games. He's been on Game Grumps as a guest. He's been on Table Flip, which is Mortimer, Susie, and Barry from from the Grumps sideshow that they do on. What do they do? They do it on a paid site, and then they repost to YouTube, which is cool. Susie's content, though not my favorite kind of stuff, is interesting. She does makeup tutorials for any of the ladies that are watching this or end up watching this. It's great, and Barry is just he seems to be a very calm, funny, and it's nice to have that in comparison to some of the more boisterous people that you get, like when you watch Aaron and Danny do Game Grumps. Barry seems very chill. I guess going along these lines, PAX East is either going on currently or has happened already. I know this only because of the YouTubers that are posting it on Twitter. Jacksepticeye came from Ireland to go to this. He's already posted pictures of him meeting up with, I'm going to say the Game Grumps? No, Markiplier. He ended up meeting with Markiplier already. And doing some photo shoots and stuff. Jack's cool. Well, Sean. He's cool. I've seen his reaction videos. People are like, wow, he's loud. He's not really that loud. Like, he's louder than he needs to be to get the point across, but he's doing that to show you the energy. He's got a lot of passion for what he does. You can never fault passion. Like, you should never. That's a gamer, sports player combo right there. If you have passion, that's it. It may have to be, you may have to be smoothed out somewhere, and I think Jack smoothed it out in the sense that his earlier videos had he tried to just. I think he was scared a little bit. He makes it sound like he's still scared. He shouldn't be. He's a great talent. I think he could do so. Like, I'm not saying that YouTube's not enough for him, but he could do so much more if he wanted to. He's got the personality for it. And Jack, if you ever see this video, please, dude, like, take that as a true compliment. I mean it. Whenever watching your videos, I always think that if you wanted to, you could do anything in any kind of acting role or anything like that. You seem to have it. That you just have the stuff. Same with all of the people that you associate with, dude. Markiplier, the Game Grumps, Bob, Wade. Yes, even you, Wade. If you hear this, Wade, even you have a chance. In other YouTube news, PewDiePie is on the on Forbes list of the most 100 influential people in the world. I mean, a lot of stuff has been published about Felix in the last couple years, about his net worth, his yearly income, what he's, how he does the things he's doing, what he's doing, and now it's come full circle. Now you understand all of those things are part of the reason why he's the most influential person. He's it works. He does. His content's fun. He's willing to try new things. He's willing to put himself out there. He's willing to embarrass himself. And he hasn't segregated himself from the other people in the YouTube community, despite the fact that he doesn't, if he turns comments off or whatever, or doesn't respond, he's got millions and millions of followers. Like, as YouTubers, we need to as YouTube fans and YouTube people, we need to understand that. Plus, there's content. If he was silent on all social medias and also not putting out content and then expecting 10 million people to stay around, then there would be an issue, but there's not. He's putting out content. He's on social medias. He's just responding to individual people that aren't his friends. It's just not, that doesn't happen. Don't worry about that. But kudos to him, and it's awesome to see where I think another reason why I wanted to start making videos is people have the influence at this stage in like social media. To think that 10 years ago, although Boogie 2988 Boogie Steve, whatever you want to call him, just started his 10th year on YouTube. But that long ago, I just can't imagine ever doing anything like that. But and Boogie, I think, as far as my format goes, I think I'm close. I'm focusing on that. When he does his Boogie Plays videos and he just talks, you don't see him. You don't see him on the camera. And when he does videos where he wants you to see him on the camera, he's not playing the game at the same time. You don't get a camera. He might do it on his Twitch stream. I don't watch his Twitch stream, but usually he does one or the other. And he's happy with that, and I'm very happy that he's happy with that, because he's inspirational. He seems like he's a great person. He'd probably be the one guy out of the people that I've listed that if I could only meet one of them, I'd probably want to meet him, because we have a lot in common from our past, and we have a lot of stories that we could talk about. Plus, he's closer to my age. Well, I guess he's not closer to my age. As far as I understand, Danny is older than I am. But I think I'd want to meet him first. He seems like a guy that you could sit down and have a drink with. And by drink, I mean non-alcoholic beverage. I don't drink alcohol. And just talk. You know, and I'm not saying that you couldn't do that to everyone else. Again, all of the people that I've mentioned, whether they're RPG guys or gameplay or makeup tutorial guys or girls or what have you, they all seem like awesome people. And it'd be super cool to meet all of them. But I think I would want to meet Boogie first. If there was going to be a transition into YouTube stardom, like meetups where I could meet YouTube stars, I'd want to meet him first, because he seems like he's, you know, I don't know. How do I explain this? Aaron and Danny are both in bands. They're in Starbomb. Danny's also in Ninja Sex Party. Both bands rock. You know, like, Ross is this great animator that even if you like animated, he can do things that you can't do. I can't draw for shit. To watch him draw, like when him and Barry did the Pokemon art, just to see some, like, they were silly, but they were amazing. You know, Barry seems like I could just meet him and chill. That's, yeah. But, you know, they're probably all super chill. Again, would love to meet everyone. I'm probably never going to meet any of them, but that's okay. That's fine. What other TV reviewers, movie reviewers?
Presented the ball to the opposition.
Cinema Snob, Brad Jones. Yeah, he's amazing. I watch his. No matter what other reviews are put up, whether Nostalgia Critic puts up a video, or if Obscura Slupa, who is now doing movie nights, or Phaelus puts up a video, or if Spoony, Noah Atweiler, puts up a review or anything like that, I always watch Brad's, no matter what, despite his choice in what he's reviewing. He's funny. I think when we were both in our 20s, we would probably have been super drunk together all the time. Pretty sure. Probably would have been super high together too. Didn't say that. There's no such thing as drugs. He's funny. He seems like he'd be a cool cat, and he's really short. And I don't know why that matters to me, but I feel like short people make me happy. He could be like a little guy I put in my pocket or something. I'm really starting to become more and more of a fan of his movie reviews that he does from his car. His Cinema Snob persona is so cool, but to have him just being Brad and putting out videos with his friends on like movies that they went and seen, and to know that like now he's organizing people to go see movies. That's really cool. That's an awesome theory. That's an awesome idea. I'm glad he does it. And like I said before, the Brad tries stuff is really fun. I was excited to hear him say that Crystal Pepsi was coming back. I remember enjoying that when I was a child, or teen, younger teen, something like that. So that's cool. Well, like I said, Phaelus. I like Phaelus's reviews on like knockoff toys. Those are fun. I wish he did more movie reviews, but he's got his own little niche, whatever you want to call, and he does it well. and Allison, who's Obscurus Lupa, who does movie nights. I was a fan when she was Obscurus Lupa. I'm a fan of movie nights. I like when she does crossovers with Brad and Phalis. I like when she has them on. It seems like that group of people are really friendly and have. I guess I'm a big fan of the social groups on YouTube because, yeah. I mean, no sad stories or anything like that, but I don't have any friends out here anymore. That is, kind of by myself. I have my wife and my son, and then my in-laws, and those are the only people I know down here. Outside of the old D&D group that I had talked about earlier. So, I really, again, I'm streaming basically because I have the time, and I enjoy seeing the relationships that are forged from these guys on YouTube. I don't know. I don't want to be a downer. I hate being a downer, and I especially don't want people to watch this and think that they gotta pity me or anything like that. It's just, it's cool. It's a really nice to see the social groups. And, I was thinking, while I was just saying all that, I was thinking about some of my shorter videos I did months ago, when I thought I was going to start this channel, and that was when I did a face cam. So if you guys don't know what I look like and wanted to know, watch the earlier videos, because they're a couple minutes long and my face is right there. I did just like 5 movies you should watch, or action movies that you should watch. And I mentioned like Firewalker with Chuck Norris, and Buraku with Josh Hartnett, and goddamn, the guy that played Hellboy. Why can't I think of his name? Ron, whatever, and Woody Harrelson's in it too. But since I put that video up, I've been watching a lot of 70s martial art movies on Netflix, and obviously, if you have Netflix, you can see these too. The 5 Venoms I had when I was playing D&D. I actually had the couple of guys from my D&D group watch the whole movie with me a day that we were hanging out, because I wanted them to see this storyline that I just thought was so interesting. It's it's a 70s action movie, so it's got holes, but it's and that's I'll get to that too though. But it's a good movie. It's fun to watch, at least. I don't know if it's great. I heard a lot of people giving a lot of flack to I, Frankenstein. Frankenstein fights gargoyles.
It's been a really good day for them here.
What's?
Well, they have had
or wait, did he fight gargoyles?
Home side, and they've added to that.
I don't know who he fought. Maybe he fought gargoyles. Or the gargoyles is friends. It doesn't matter, because the whole point is it wasn't that bad of a movie. It was different, but not bad. There's some flaws to it, but not nothing you couldn't recover from if you didn't want to.
St. Johnston 2. Let's have a look at what those results mean for tonight's league tables.
Give it a chance. But what I was thinking about while I said that, I was thinking about movies. I wanted to give another shout out because I don't want to miss any of the people I watch. I want them all to know that I watch all of you. Not creepily, but I try to watch all your videos. Not all at the same time, and not all when they're let out, but I try to watch all of them. And this is a dude, like, I first saw him on someone else's video, and then I was like, I went to his stuff, and his stuff's amazing, because he does anime, and that's Bennett Sage. Dude, he's funny, he's critical to the films that he's watching. Most of them are anime, but he even does the Sage Versus series now, where he's just like explaining the current movies that they go out and see and why they're bad as well, And man, Bennett, kudos to you. It's nice to see anime getting a look.
Ross County, 0.
You know, I agree with a lot of his sentiments about it still being a small community overall. You know, it's still, you still get weird looks even though a lot of people watch it, you know. My ninja-themed RPG I was putting together had it tipped its hat to the Naruto franchise more than once. If it wasn't for Naruto, I probably wouldn't even have tried the process. Now, I understand that Naruto is one of those shows that Bennett, the big three, that creates the argument about what is the greatest, what is the best current one. I'm not going to get into that. I've only watched 2 of the 3, Bleach and Naruto, and I think the stories are great in both. I like both. I started watching One Piece, and a lot of things are going on, so it's I'll probably go at it again when I want to get back into watching a longer running anime, but I can't knock it. It's fun. It's good stuff.
This is the lineup for the home side.
I wanted to ask this on Twitter, and again, Bennett, if you ever see this video, or if anyone ever sends you the questions I put out here, I wanted to ask Bennett if he played D&D still, because again, I saw him originally in Spoonie's video, the Manure Golem video, from his Counter Monkey videos, and I was wondering if Bennett still played. Just because if he had any stories from D&D to tell, I would love. He's a great wordsmith, and I'd love to hear his stories if he had any. Furthermore, if any of you guys are in the New Mexico area, find me. So, I mean, I'm not going to be a fanboy about it, but I would love to meet you guys if you're close. But yeah, so. You know, Bennett, there's your shout out. I'm really enjoying. Well, it only happened once, but the free Gabe thing was really funny. I think it should be a reoccurring gag in your videos. Gabe, I don't know where you came from in this scenario. I don't know you from Adam, but it's when you entered the fray into his videos and into Bennett's videos as a cast member, it's worked out really well. I'm glad that it went that way. So again, here I was talking about Bennett Sage, and I thought about another thing that's coming up that I'm super pumped about. Game of Thrones comes back Sunday.
Details of that injury from our man Jeff Shreves.
Fucking Game of fucking Thrones. Good God, what is going to happen this season? I don't know. I can't. I don't want to put spoilers out, but yeah, I'm going to put spoilers out. Fuck it. If anyone ever watches this video and gets mad at me for spoilers, I'm giving you about a minute to prepare yourself because there's going to be spoilers. Like John Smith died at the end of the last season. Or he's bleeding out, and everyone's saying he's dead, and we know that's not true. We know it has to be not true, because it's just Kit is too much of a star for that show, and they're like, well, all these other stars are dead and shit. Yeah, but think about the cast that's being followed the most. They're alive, you know.
When the team that's at home
and Sean Bean dies in everything he plays in, so that's not really an argument you can have for him not being there. But wow, Jon Snow, they're talking about the Red Sorceress, or the Red, yeah, Resurrection. What's going on with Siri? Wow. Cersei? No. Damn it. The Lannisters. What's going on with the Lannisters? Let's just do that. Is Jaime gonna fall back into love with his sister? It looks like she's gonna start a revolution against the religion with her new zombie man. Peter Dinklage, I like the Saturday Night Live appearance. I can't deny that either. But Tyrion being over with Daenerys, although she's captured right now, like he's running shit. Are the old masters coming back? The dragons are still there. Man, there's so much going on. It's great. I can't wait to see all the things that are going to happen. All of the things. I want to see all of them. I did get disappointed because I got on, we have Xfinity here, and I was flipping through the stations earlier today, and Game of Thrones popped up in between channels. And it's just an early record setting so that you can record the episodes, so just in case you miss it, you can watch it. But I thought they got up early release on the first episode, so I got super stoked. Yeah, I'm an idiot. I'll admit it. But Game of Thrones is coming back. That's going to be super fun. This week, finally, Supernatural's taking 2 weeks off. They're finally going to have the next episode. What's going on this season? This season's been bonkers. The Darkness is out. Castiel is in the cage. Lucifer is in Castiel's body. Crowley's mom died and then came back. Crowley was imprisoned by Lucifer and now he's running free. The Winchesters have to work with Crowley, but Crowley's got his own motives. Lucifer's trying to walk into heaven. It's crazy. This is a great season. It's not a good season if you want to break into Supernatural. This is not the season for you. Way too many things happening that you have to be a fan to appreciate. There's rumor that we're finally going to get to see who everyone suspects to be God in Chuck will return this season. I believe this episode coming up this next week. He's the author of those books that the Winchesters they were happening to them simultaneously, and people drew the conclusion that Chuck could be God, like hiding out. And it's interesting that we consider that to be an option when we were looking for damn it, now I can't think of the author's name. Booger from Revenge of the Nerds. He was he was the scribe of God, or was he the scribe of God? Or whatever he was. It also had to do with a lot of books. So it's interesting that it could be Chuck. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. It makes a great plot point, and given the character that Chuck was when he was there, it also gives you a scenario where God shows up again, gets rid of the darkness, but the story can continue, because Chuck wasn't one of those guys that was going to stick around.
Very good control though.
Yeah.
And it's out of play.
Man, does the darkness get put away this season? Or does this season end with it still being up in the air and have like a mid-season finale kind of finish to the darkness, and then have a couple of episodes after that to break into the new storyline? Or is next season the last season? One of the problems with having a show where you ramp up the what's happening each season is eventually you get to an apex, and you either have to come back down to a less complex storyline, or you got to end it. Now, I think there is a story here still, and it entails the interpretation of God, because they could bring all the gods from all the mythos back, because they did do a storyline with all these other gods before, but bring them all back and be like, well, one revealed himself, now here's all these other ones, and then there'd be an issue where, you know, the guys have to take care of that. But as far as, I mean, Sam and Dean should be doing Monster of the Week stuff every now and then too. Some of their best episodes are the one-off Monster of the Week episodes, because it lets you understand Sam and Dean better and not focus on driving the story forward. And it's really nice to see Jared and Jansen's interpretation of Brothers. These guys are jaded guys, but you can, whenever there's something that happens to one another, you can feel that there's still that care there, as if it was Jared and Jansen being brothers and Sam and Dean just inheriting that from them. Because if you look at the story from when the first episode, Sam hasn't seen Dean in years. Sam left on this bitter point that, you know, he didn't want to continue with the family business, and he wanted to be his own man, and he wanted to do his own thing. And it was only Dean's, you know, you could sense Dean being scared because his dad's not there. The guy who made Dean who he is, you know? It's touching to see that they're so close despite how far apart they were at the beginning. And it is interesting to consider the duality of the good and evil, and then that both of them have done the angel-devil thing. You know, whether it's Sam drinking demon blood to work on psychic powers, which, by the way, where did those go? Those have just disappeared off the ether. Or if it's Dean with the mark, or one of them being in purgatory, the other one being hell. They've done all the stuff, and it brings a great duality to it, because one of them could represent each side, and it's almost it makes me think of it's a lesser of it, but if anyone's ever watched Yu Yu Hakusho, they, at the end of the series, instead of it being a two-way war, which right now it could be a three-way war, it could be Lucifer versus God versus the darkness, but in Yu Yu Hakusho there was 3 kingdoms in the demon world that were fighting, and they had a tournament to decide who was going to be the king, one king to rule them all. I kind of feel like that's where some of this is, and it's interesting because it's Sam, it's Dean, and those are the 2 sides of it. But you have 4 sides to a shape that no one can identify yet because they don't know how many sides there are. But you have Sam and Dean representing human good and evil, if you want to look at it like this. And then you have Castiel and Crowley representing supernatural good and evil. And the lines blurred between all of them all at once. And even earlier in the supernatural stories, Castiel was trying to bring the angels together, and Crowley was trying to rule hell, and both of them have had to work with the Winchesters. Castiel obviously loyal to the Winchesters, Crowley loyal as long as he's getting what he wants, but it would be interesting to see if the end game for this was, okay, well now Crowley's leading one side and Castiel's leading the other side, and now Sam and Dean have to choose a side, and they choose to do opposites. And the series ends on kind of the cliffhanger of who wins. I didn't like how Sopranos ended, but to black screen that and make the fans have to guess, and it's a good way to end a season. I don't know if maybe you don't end the series like that. Or maybe not have them fight at all. I don't know. Because what we've learned about Sam and Dean is that they always make the wrong mistake, which is something they keep coming back to. Is like, I'm not going to make that mistake again. Although, what, an episode later, that mistake was made. Dean tried to kill himself so that he saved Sam. The Reefers have already told Dean that there's no more second chances, and it was only because the doctors could bring Dean back that he survived, and Sam wasn't dead. Like, Dean just thought he was dead. The werewolf that suffocated him, choked him out, whatever, what have you, didn't do a good enough job. Yeah, Supernatural, great show, love it. Been a fan since the first season, and I watch it. I don't care if it's a teeny bopper show or whatever you want to call it. It's got a good storyline. It gets me right in my D&D, my role playing soft spots. I was gonna get into I was going to get into a Call of Cthulhu RPG where I begged the DM that no matter what happens until he decides that we're done and we're going to go crazy, if he could just try to make the story supernatural-esque, where we actually take care of a couple of monsters and it's like a monster of the week kind of thing for a little bit, and you know that I would have just loved to have that opportunity to play that way, you know, but that didn't happen either. Spoiler, it was the same D&D, it was the same group that the Star Wars and whatnot happened with, so obviously I didn't get to play. But yeah, Supernatural is a really good show. I do like Allison Lupa movie nights, what have you. Does a podcast and reviews a couple episodes at a time. Honestly, there hasn't been. I don't think there's been an episode I've been disappointed in.
Yeah, I think that does seem to be the case.
It's a fanboy thing. I understand that. I like the show, and I like the show a lot.
That seems to be the case at the moment.
Just to flick on with the header and kept possession.
My wife watched Gilmore Girls, so when she saw Jared, she was like, "No, that's Dean." And I was like, "Well, it was Dean in your show."
Return ball.
But you know, I like the show, and I don't. A bad episode. The worst episode is better than some of the better episodes of other shows I've seen. So, I don't know if anyone who watches this that has an opinion on Supernatural or their favorite episodes or any of the YouTubers I've mentioned, please let me know. I understand that I've likely just talking to myself, and that's cool. I'm probably just gonna keep playing tonight. I don't know if it'll be 4 games. My wife hasn't told me that she would like me to be upstairs right away, so for tonight at least, and this episode, I'm just gonna go and stream and talk and see where it goes. I think I saw my guy I have over 50 goals for the season, so I'm a madman when it comes to goals. I'm probably doing pretty good in assists. I haven't had any yellow cards, haven't had any red cards. Still working on the stamina issue. I have been playing more full games, but I'm fatigued out of my mind once I get to the end of the game. Yeah. So, what else? I don't know.
Wow, that was a proper strike. He's hammered it home and it's flown into the right-hand side of the goal.
My predictions for the NBA. I think it's pretty obvious across the board. The better team in the first round should win every one of them. I've got Toronto winning. I've got Cleveland winning. I've got Golden State winning. I've got San Antonio winning.
He's lost the ball here. Cooper.
I think that's.
Here's a chance, and he scores.
Oh, the Clippers. I have the Clippers winning. And I think I have the
And he's just
winning.
stroked it home first time.
Really
right? Classy,
maybe?
Composed goal.
I have to say it's so
maybe.
one-sided today.
Again, I think I said in the video earlier today. I think Toronto could be the Eastern Conference representative in the finals against Golden State. I don't see anyone being able to beat Golden State. Even though they lost to Houston, they lost to Houston by a basket. Like, they started super stale, and Golden State's usually not that stale. So I'm gonna go ahead and just, as far as my predictions, it's boring. Golden State's gonna win the whole thing. If they have their whole roster, it shouldn't even be close. And this series is going to look closer than the other series because Curry's injured right now. And no, I still wouldn't play him even after losing, because it was so close. And you're not going to have as cold of a start. I mean, you would assume professionals aren't just going to have that cold of a start multiple games in a row. So, no, I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and let him sit this series. And I hope it motivates the Rockets, because it'll probably be the only thing that you can get them to be motivated about. Sean Livingston and Andre coming off the bench and making you look silly. And the best player in the league basically being able to take a bye week or bye a couple weeks because you can't compete with the rest of the guys on the roster. You know? Yeah, Golden State for the win. Again, I haven't watched any hockey playoffs yet. I've watched some of some games, but I have not watched a game in full. Hockey is going to be probably the last of them 4 major American sports that I pick a team for and go forward with, because it's the one that I have followed the least over time. I like hockey, but I haven't followed enough. So I'll likely, like I said, baseball's coming out. When baseball comes out, I'm going to do my 3 players, and figure a way to pick a team from one of those 3. Football set. I'll always be a Lions fan. And basketball for that year will be coming out at that point. I'll find a way to pick a basketball team to follow. I don't know if I want to do it with one player or do a fan vote and just put all the who should I be a fan of, kind of thing. And then hockey, it depends if hockey has a draft process or if it's just a put a player here kind of thing. I don't know. I haven't played hockey. I should probably watch this year's hockey on YouTube to see if the draft process is that way. Because if it's the case, then maybe I'll just do that, and then whichever team I go to is the team I root for. I love the sports, but I, again, don't have a favorite. And hockey is going to be harder because I have to learn a lot more about players from not in the Americas, And it's also, I don't ice skate, so it's a sport that I've got to learn more about playing. So that'll be fun. I haven't really been looking for any adult leagues or anything like that down here since we got here. Before we moved, I had a pretty steady decline in my participation in sports. Early in my wife's and I's relationship, I was still playing basketball a whole bunch. I was still in volleyball. I had met up for some softball games and stuff like that, but I had really put those on the back burner. I was finishing college and wanted, I wanted to do role playing. I wanted to do video game stuff. I wasn't really into the atmosphere anymore at that time. But I don't know. I'm thinking about my son wanting to play sports, and I can't wait until he's at that age where he can choose what he wants to do. And we're very open to him. Like, if he wants to be an artist or he wants to be a musician, if he wants to travel the world, or if he wants to go help people in need, or if he wants to be an athlete, those are, my wife and I are more than willing to let him do what he wants. He's a very independent 3-year-old already. Very bright. He gets a lot of praise from his preschool teachers. That he learns well. He's well equipped for society and all that stuff. So I just can't wait to see him grow into a teenager and a young man. He's gonna do the world well to be my wife and I moved, we did move from a couple of happy situations that have made us sad that we've missed out on. Both of our sisters ended up becoming pregnant, either after we left or or found out they were pregnant just before we left. Both of them had beautiful young girls. Both my little nieces, Mia and Cara, they're adorable, both of them. And when we get a chance to go visit New York, I can't wait to finally meet them. It's fun. We get a lot of FaceTime and a lot of pictures. And we send out a lot of pictures and do a lot of FaceTime with our son. So, you know, it's nice, but it'll be really great to finally get to hold both of them and, you know, smile at them. I love babies. You know. And I want Ethan to meet them too. I know growing up, all of my cousins lived in the same town, so we all, you know, we all knew each other pretty well. Hey, I have someone watching. Hey, how you doing? Hi. Hi, person watching. Please talk, because I'm just rambling about family right now. You missed a whole bunch of sports talk. I did a role-playing D&D talk. I talked about Game of Thrones and Supernatural. So if you got anything to say, oh, you're gone. Go figure. Well, what are you gonna do? That's the. I guess that's the life of YouTube right now. That's all right. I probably scared him. He gets on immediately. I start screaming at him to talk to me. Oh Jesus! What kind of person am I? But yeah, so I had all my family right around me. I grew up with them as. Both my male cousins, most all of my male cousins, two of them on my mom's side, I played with all the time. We played a lot of sports together. The cousins on my dad's side, I was with a lot. I lived with one of them for a while, with my wife, then girlfriend. So I feel like it's a little bit harder on our son. But he does go to preschool. He gets along with everyone there. He gets a lot of attention from the adults in this house, that's for sure. And both my wife and I miss our families. In different ways, you know. Like, I miss my family in the sense that I've always had them right there. So when my sister finds out we're moving and then starts freaking out because she's pregnant and she doesn't think she's ever going to see me again, and you know, she's never been far away from her big brother, and it's sad. Hey, another person's back. There's another person watching this stream. There's been 2 people watch this stream. I am excited. Hello, sir or ma'am, that is currently watching. What's going on? And you're gone. Man, maybe this is just what happens. People just get on, get scared off by Chris and leave, and then Chris goes back to talking about something that's really not going to have anyone's interest. But yeah, that's my family. Who cares? Not a big deal. I played volleyball with my sister. We played volleyball together. She played in high school, and she was very good. She was a great server. She's an all-star in Western New York. I proudly went to her all-star game and cheered her on. When she got a little bit older, she played beer league with me. And we had a rough patch. This kind of comes back to the teamwork thing. My sister is 5'10", and when in high school, she was an up-front person. She was a blocker, and I'm 6'3", and I never played in high school, but I played basketball, I played soccer, I played baseball, I played football. I tried field. I've played floor hockey in non-sports surroundings. I've played softball. I've done a lot of sports. And I was my team's blocker, spiker, front guy. And we collided a couple times that first season because she thought it was hers and I thought it was mine. And she kind of just agreed that she would set me up, I would kill it, and then the two of us would high five because it was awesome that we got to contribute and we got to play together. and it was awesome because it got my dad and his girlfriend got to come and watch us play, and there all the time, him and his beard. And they would bring their dog, and you know, our team would have cookouts all the time. There's something to say about a group of people that you work with and you can tolerate long enough to play sports with, and then want to also have a cookout after playing sports with them, after seeing them all day. And that's the kind of people I had around. Those were probably some of the best people I've ever met. And you know what? I'll do that shout out now. Jen Micah, Bob Lake, Francisco, Pablo, no longer with us. Rest in peace. Rita, Meg Dog, Dog. I called Meg Dog and then I said Dog. Aaron, kudos to all you guys. You guys are awesome. I hope, that when you reflect on your time playing volleyball or working with me or playing basketball with me, in the case of Aaron and Bob, that you have positive things to say about me. I hope. I thought I was a good person, but I stopped playing volleyball with them at it was a rough decision. I probably let my competitive edge get to me a little bit because it's a beer league and we had friends on other teams, and sometimes they got under my skin, and sometimes I got a little loud about it, and then I would get told that I was in the wrong. So after a season of being told that I was wrong, I walked, and my fault. Granted, other things came, like Becky, my wife, was pregnant with our son. My hours changed. I didn't work at the same job anymore, but I wanted to win, and I chose wanting to win over having fun. So I feel bad about that, and if Jen, because you were our captain, if you ever see this video, I apologize for being a dick. Please understand it was nothing against any of the ones on Team Belco. That's right, Team Belco. I still have our jerseys. We had shirts made every year, and I've kept every shirt. I will never get rid of those shirts. If they are filled with moth holes and falling apart, I will never get rid of those shirts. I played with Jen and Bob and Dog and Megan and Rita and Paco for 4 years, and honestly probably the best 4 years of my life, until I met my wife. You can't take away my wife. My wife's super cool. When I met her, a lot of things in my life changed, but outside of the time I've had with my wife and having my son and being together as our family and stuff, those 4 years with those guys in the sports aspect, because Bob had played volleyball in high school, and Bob was a technical wonder. He knew how to play he played the game the way that it was taught to play, and he had a very good technique. And he knew Bob is 5'11", and he knew his role. Not saying that in a cocky way, but he could set with the best of them. He had a great serve. He's super competitive, which I could feed off of. So we would get super hyped when we had a great run. And he was the most chill person any other time. We were friends outside of sports. We played poker together, we played basketball together, get together, play video games, play cards, shoot the shit. We did that. That happened. They're good. He was a good person to be around. Aaron was brand new into volleyball. I felt like him and I were kind of breaking into volleyball together. And I mean, he'll probably tell you that he had his problems with spikes, because he did miss a couple of big spikes because he was going in hard, but there wasn't a single person that had more passion. He wanted to be good. He wanted to be great. He'd practice. He would organize practices. He was a gym teacher and a coach at one of the local schools. Just a great person. even though he's a Red Sox fan. You can't hold it against him. Megan and I lived together. When I got the job that brought Megan, when I met Megan, she had a friend that needed, the two of them wanted a roommate, so I jumped in. It was my first time that I got to move to the town where we were working, and we had a Rocky Road as roommates because you know, I'm a slob. I try to be a slob in my own personal space, but apparently that can also be offensive. I didn't.
What a player. What a
you know, I paid my bills, I stayed in my room, but you know, it was after I stopped living with her that we actually started getting along more. Jen worked at the same place that Megan and I worked, and from the first day I walked in the building to work, Jen was always very nice to me.
Back again.
She made it her mission to make sure that I had friends at the restaurant, and she's a sweetheart. Her and Bob are together still. I hope they are together forever. They're one of the cutest couples in the world to see. When Bob got hurt during one of our volleyball seasons, to see Jen take care of him was adorable.
Really strong play in the tackle.
Paco and Rita dated, or were dating, and Paco, like I said, passed. And my condolences will always go out to Rita for that. Rita is she was a softball star for her school. Very athletic, knew how to play volleyball. Paco he loved sports. He was athletic. He was funny as shit. He actually started off just coming to watch our games, and subbed in for us one year when we didn't have an extra guy. And we started doing like elaborate baseball handshakes between Paco and I, where he would box on my hands and then duck my hands, and then we would slap hands and then jump at each other. It was ridiculous, but everyone loved it because it just spoke to like the passion that he had for the game and like how much fun he wanted to have doing it. And Paco was the shortest guy on our team, and for the life of him, he wanted to spike the ball. That was, if he would have gotten the killer spike, I think he would have retired. If he would have got the one that he hits and it's untouched and it was untouchable, he probably would have never played again. Love that guy so much. We found out that he passed after I stopped talking to the volleyball team, so that was tough. I didn't go see Rita or any of the guys, and to offer my condolences. I didn't think it was my place at that point. But Rita, if you ever hear this, you're a great person. Keep your head up. He's missed. He's missed here. Again, these weren't just teammates, and again, my theme for this video is teamwork and stuff. We worked so fluid as a team, but then we were also friends, we had cookouts, we hung out and played video games together, we would play other sports together, we would shoot the shit. We all got there early.
First touch was poor. We
would get there early. The guys would usually, the rest of them, we would usually have a couple beers or shoot the shit. But we were all joking. We always wisecrack. But then we got onto the court, and it was for real, And they're a great group of people. I hope that everyone that ever plays a sport gets to have that little nucleus for a couple years, And again, it wasn't for a high school sport or a college sport. It was a beer league, but when you the last game of a beer league season, and you're in the playoffs, because we were almost always in the playoffs because we were that fluid, we were that good of a team together, and you lose because we never won the championship. and you have the other team come over, and we had guys that were from leagues above us that were playing in leagues for better teams. Like if there was an A and a B league, the A league is the guys that, it was a lot of more fluid looking game, and we were in a B league, but again, beer league, so it wasn't a big deal. But you have guys that were in the A league the year before that come to you after the game, any part of the season, but they did beat us in the last game. Come over and be like, you guys are awesome. Because we had fun, but we were athletic, we tried hard. And at the end, we didn't flip out on each other most of the time. We hugged it out, high fives, shot the shit. Most of the time they went to our sponsor and got drunk. We were sponsored by the town we played in's VFW, and they gave a free pitcher to him, so the guys obviously got drunk. It was a great crew. Yeah, wow, this is a really weird video, I'd have to say, because I have hit some somber notes tonight, and not my intentions. I was kind of just wanting to make another video because I had the time, but I don't know. I think like the overarching part of this video is just kind of like teamwork and appreciate the people you have there that make you happy. Because I can tell you for a fact that you're eventually one day gonna walk. Keeping your friends around is not a guarantee. As someone, I switched like social groups in high school, and went through a period of time where I didn't have any friends. And to find some at the end of high school, and then to find some when I moved to this job, and to be able to make a transition, to where I had other friends, like I made new friends. It's amazing. It's a good thing to have. Man, I feel like a counselor. I do have a psychology degree, so anything that I've said during this thing could be considered therapy for anyone. I don't have a license, but take it as free therapy at this point. Appreciate the friends you have, and find true friends. True friends don't ask much of you, except for they want to party with you. They want to be your friends. Megan, I want to party with you. That was, I don't know if she'll ever remember that, but that was a thing we used to say all the time. I want to party with you. Yeah. It's I mean, I have other people that are like that in my role-playing world. My first D&D group, John and Justin and Steve and Remington and Mike. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm blanking on her name. And she wanted to hit me when we were a group. God damn it. Val. Wow. Please don't hate me, Val, if you ever hear this. It was a great group. Val hated my character. She was a sorceress. I was a dragonborn. The first time we played, I stole a ration out of her pocket, and she hated me from that moment on. She didn't like Trex because he was dumb, and he wanted to hit things. And she was a sorceress, and she thought she was a princess.
James Forrest. And
Vivivicus, which was John's character, was an instigator. To this day, John and I will have arguments about if Vivivicus was a worshiper of Bane, an evil god for anyone who doesn't know. John will say no. Vivivicus bent a knee to him, and that's fact. That's history. That happened.
Gordon.
And Trex saw him do it. So in Trex's mind, Vivivicus at one point worshipped Bane. So Trex went after Vivivicus. And John and I worked it out. I mean, it was the argument John was trying to propose is you don't know that. And I was like, I saw it. That was part of the role play. But yeah, it was John and I were friends before we started D&D together. Again, we worked at the same restaurant. And John is probably one of the closest things to a brother I've ever had. John and my friend Mark from high school and I were the three amigos for a long time. We did everything together. If I went to... this is how bad it got. If I went to work and John wasn't working that day, I got really sad. Because John Seck would make me laugh no matter what was going on in my life. And there was more than one occasion he did. And John was married most of the time that I knew him. He got married while we were friends, and he didn't get a divorce. And his wife, Amy, she's a sweetheart. She would always, she wouldn't always, but a lot of the time, like if I needed to talk to John after work about life, she never said no. She'd be like, yeah, you know. I always would invite her over too. You know, John got me into World of Warcraft, which was the beginning of my. Well, if you like World of Warcraft, you'll like 4th edition D&D, and if you like 4th edition D&D, you'll like D&D. So John is one of the catalysts to me finding one of my favorite hobbies of all time, and he's like a big brother, which is funny because he's a big brother to James, and James and fit into our little clique for a while there too, but he moved, and then it got harder to be cliquey. But yeah, John Seck, John, Mark, and I, and then our friend Brad. Left 4 Dead had just came out. We would play Left 4 Dead, the 4 of us. When we could finally connect a couple Xboxes together, we used to have 8-mans, where we would have zombies versus humans. And we would just have friends over all the time, and it was had a lot to do with John Seck being able to bring people together like that. And it also had a lot to do with John being willing to share, because I didn't want to share them. They were great friends to me. I wanted to keep them to myself, but we would always invite more people over, and seeing how they would react to having people just made it easier for me to react to it. So, you know, John, I still talk to John every now and then. We get to chatting. You know, he's a great dude. He's happy, which is awesome. He moved away from the town we met in. It made it harder to hang out because he worked and lived in, 100 miles away, 50 miles away, 60 miles away. So like we could visit. I never did. I've always had that problem when it comes to all I have to do is drive, and I would be able to see my friends. I'd rather not drive.
He's moved in trying to jostle the opponent off his stride.
You know, and then he moved back home, and he told me that, and it was about the same week that I told him that I was moving to New Mexico. So we've kept in touch on Facebook and text messages, but he's a good man. He's a very good man. Mark's a good man too. Mark was my best friend in high school. Again, I left the social group, and I stopped playing football, started hanging out with some pretty heavy drug users, then stopped hanging out with them. I wanted to get back into sports. I started playing soccer, which became it's where I met Mark. Well, I met Mark in school that year, but he ended up playing soccer, and we were friends. He ended up moving in. After his college experience, he went to college before I got to go. Because I joined the military and all of this silly stuff like that. He moved in with me for a while. We were roommates a couple different times. That dude put up with a lot of my shit. And Mark, if you ever watch this, I apologize. I thank you for putting up with it, because you were a true dude about it. Whether it was me being stupid about dating, or just being like, a dick, because he worked 3rd shift and I didn't, so there was, it can complicate hanging out with friends when that happens. But he's still a solid dude. He's got a nephew now, his younger brother, who's another cool cat, and his wife had a beautiful little boy, and they're expecting another one, which is super cool. And despite the fact that I live in New Mexico now, Mark actually just had a lunch date with my whole family. So if that tells you how the Coopers feel about Mark Bellis, the Bessies feel the same way, which is my mother's side of the family. Everyone loves him. He's again another brother. He's always going to have a cool spot with the Coopers, that's for sure. For the longest time, I pushed for him and my sister to get together. It just neither one of them were having it. I got told shut up so many times because they were friends. I mean, they were friends just as much. Well, not as much as me and Mark were friends, but my sister just wanted to be friends with them, and they're friends. That's cool. I was super happy to hear they went out to eat, and Mark got to hang out with Mia, which is my niece, and see my sister and my grandmother, Mia's great-grandmother, my dad and his girlfriend, and they all got to go out to eat. And that's again, that's when you have friends. Who your true friends are. My family goes to eat at the restaurant that I used to work at. I left there on bad terms, at least with management. I walked out on a shift during a Sunday rush because the big boss at the time there wouldn't get off my shit. So I told her if she wouldn't get off my shit, I was going to leave, and then she instigated it. I took off my apron and my hat and put them on the floor and left. I just started dating my wife at that time. I called her and told her that I quit my job. Her dad had a restaurant at the time. He offered me a cook position. Kind of it all goes from there. It was really weird because her parents owned a restaurant, and they named it after their dog. And if there's anyone watching the stream, I would ask them to guess what the dog's name was, but I'll just tell you. The dog's name is Cooper, which is my last name. So when people met me at the restaurant, they thought it was my restaurant. It wasn't. I didn't, I cooked for them. I gave them a couple of recipe ideas. I dated their daughter, so, I mean, I think I gave them the greatest gift. But yeah, in-laws helped me out a lot there, because if I didn't get that little bit of work, I was probably going to be in a bad way. But I mean, life changed at that point. When I met my wife, Becky is her name, Rebecca. I knew things were going to change, because when we first started hanging out, I knew I wanted to hang out with her. I wanted to be around her. I wanted to hear her talk. I wanted to enjoy her company. And it worked out that way. I mean, here we are living in New Mexico. Neither one of us could be happier. We have a child, a beautiful boy. Yeah, life is, as far as that goes, life is great. It's lost control. A little tougher than that. And I just got mail today from the Department of Treasury that of my debt, so that kind of reopened a wound on that, because it's still not resolved. I haven't got any more contact from the senator about what's going on with it. Outside of, now that the Ninja RPG has kind of hit a fail spot where I'm looking for work now, and that's taking some time, so that's a little frustrating. And that's life for everyone else, but it can be sad. But again, wow, I went really dark and stuff, and I wanted to be happy. Yeah, so let's get back to some fun stuff. No, the vines. I talked about vines in a video earlier, and I didn't know who made them and whatnot. I guess my question is, because there's a whole issue about fair usage in YouTube right now. In the Vine videos, obviously there's music playing from other bands and stuff, But there's no fair usage issues with them putting the videos up online, or at least I haven't seen any. If anyone watches this and has any explanation that they could give me for that, I'd love to know. Is it because it was a product made previously off of YouTube that they get to use that stuff, or is it because Vine doesn't get paid, and the people who are doing the Vine montages or collections on YouTube are also in agreement to not get paid, that there's no issue? Or does it lie in the fact that people are getting paid? Or is it a thing where if the music's being used at all, whether the person's getting paid to have it be used or not? I don't understand. If someone can enlighten me on that. I know Matthias from Matthias did a video on it. I don't remember the resolution. I might have to watch it again, because he did explain what it was, and it's informative. Matthias and Team Edge is really another group of guys that you could watch. When I first started watching them, I was like, I thought it was pretty apparent, but then they did say in later videos that these guys are wholesome young men.
And he's presented the ball to the opposition.
But they have fun, which is good. It's just, I didn't expect. I don't know. I don't want to say it's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just they're very wholesome.
I'm not surprised. This is a lad who very rarely gets replaced, but he's not been at the races today. Maybe he's a bit under the weather.
They're funny. They're funny guys, and they put up a good time. I like the challenges; those are fun. And they also do things with other YouTubers, which is a trend that I'm seeing. Like, I saw Bennett the Sage through Spoonie. I've seen Spoonie on Nostalgia Critic. I've seen Jacksepticeye with Markiplier. Markiplier is also on Matthias's channel. Matthias has had Aaron on the show. Aaron had Steve-O. Game Grumps had Steve-O on last week. Now I know that they recorded in advance, so it was Steve-O was in their office earlier, but they had Steve-O was on a video last week. Which, how cool is that, guys? I mean, the Angry Video Game Nerd did it before you. He set that path, but you guys have went to this place where you have two bands that didn't come from Game Grumps, but it gives you an audience to build off of from Game Grumps. You get to meet celebrities. You get to meet other YouTubers. You get to travel. It must be super cool to be a Game Grump. Or a Grump. Or whatever. What have you. Again, like, Ross is super talented as an artist. I don't know what... Barry's an editor for them, but I have seen him as the pony in the Ninja Sex Party videos. Or the unicorn, I'm sorry. In the videos. He's also playing a ruffian in Attitude City, for anyone. Attitude City is a great song, by the way. I don't know much about Kevin. There's more. Vern, I don't know Vernon. I don't know any of it. Vernon was the ad monster, according to Twitter. I don't know. Yeah, when again, one of the short videos I did when I first started making videos on YouTube was a video saying that I was going to be trying to put together an online campaign, D&D campaign, and I'm saying maybe that could work out again. But I'm looking at these group of people that are working together on YouTube, and I'm just like, wow, I wish I could do that. I wish I could have that. Like, even the role-playing group I was talking about before, led by Matt Click. That's amazing. I know Matt's in Seattle, and I think
it's an easy interception because the pass
I think Barker's really also in Seattle, or at least Oregon, I think, or Washington. somewhere over there. I'm not sure where tabletop chairs or Juice are from. I don't know where Nate, which is WASD20, is from. But because they were able to meet up on the internet and play, it doesn't matter. As long as they have internet, these guys can play together. That's super cool. And they put out great content, which is awesome. It makes it a lot easier for everyone.
In second, Celtic with 72 points.
I don't know if it's it's a lot of fun to watch these guys. It's a lot of fun to watch all these YouTubers.
Third bottom, Inverness Caledonian Thistle with 27 points.
And it's comparable to me watching sports, and there's times where I do have the game on, like a baseball game or a football game or a basketball game. At any point when I'm watching a sport, I may also be playing a YouTube video because I can turn the volume off on a sport. I don't need to hear the commentators tell me about what Jell-O the dude ate the day before the game. I can watch a sport and kind of let it tell its own story to me. I don't need all the commentator stuff. And honestly, there are just some sports commentators I don't want to hear from. They may be legends on the field, but Bill Walton, I don't care what you have to say. Chris Collinsworth, I don't care what you have to say. It's just, I know you're getting paid to say words, so in that instance, if you don't say words, you're not doing your job. And I appreciate that, and you did stuff for sport, and that's great, but I thought I was going to have the same problem with Heath Evans, because Heath Evans comes from a very strong camp about their opinions. And I didn't think I was going to agree with as many comments that he makes, but he makes a lot of good points. He probably doesn't have to come at it as abrasive as he does, but I don't think he cares, to be honest. I think that's honestly, if you could link a personality to a position, I think it speaks of fullback. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna run you over and you're gonna appreciate it. That sounds about right. Good job, Heath. Sometimes I have a problem with Stephen A. Smith because it seems like his conversations are a movie plot. Because they have a beginning, a middle, end, and he has to have all three of those things in each one of his statements. He very rarely has a statement that ends with a one-word sentence, which is great because he's a journalist. He probably should not end a whole bunch of sentences with one word and then expect to continue to be a journalist. And he has great theories, and his access to players is great, and he seems like a good person. It's just sometimes it seems like it's repetitive the way he speaks. But again, these guys all get paid to do their job, so hey, I don't want to point out and scare a person, but there is another person watching this live stream. Sir or ma'am, if you hear my voice, what's going... Oh, he's gone. She's gone. Damn. You know what's happening is the people are coming to the stream because of my tags. Because I mentioned all of the sports that I talked about so far and the mock draft, and people are looking at my tags, or they're looking at the name of and they're coming, and they're seeing I'm playing soccer, but I'm not talking about soccer, and they probably don't want to hear anything about it. I'm sorry, guys. I thought soccer would be the best sport to put just like sports talk over, because there's nothing to really talk about as far as my player. I'm going to move around until I get the ball. I get the ball. I break away. I get within 3 feet of the goal. I kick the ball. I score. I understand it's a complex sport. I played it. I understand it's a way more complex sport than that. And if I wanted to make it harder, to a challenge to where it was more to talk to in the game, I could up the difficulty. And I might be doing that shortly, but originally I was struggling with the difficulty it was on. So I may up the difficulty next video. now that my guy broke into the 80s, congratulations. But yeah, I don't. Again, like if you come to watch while I'm streaming, just say something. Guys, I want to have an argument with someone. I can't believe I just said that. I want to argue with somebody. Damn it. Actually, one of my dad's girlfriend's boyfriends, Charlie, is supposed to be doing a podcast soon, and I think he asked me if I wanted to be on it to do like a role play discussion. But yeah, I would love to get that streamed too. If there's anyone that wants to just chat about anything, just get on here, start chatting. Leave comments on the videos, guys. Like, subscribe. Let me know that someone wants to hear this shit. If you don't want to hear it, then I'm just gonna put it up and no one's gonna listen to it. Someone 30 years from now is going to hear it and go, that guy was bonkers, cuckoo bananas. How dare he think Joey Bosa is not worth a top 5 pick? No one thinks Joey Bosa is worth a top 5 pick.
Danger was looming large. The shot's on. Back off the post.
Indianapolis' GM says that if you pick him, you're picking for need, and how dare you do that? I don't know, man. I mean, it's the thing about drafts is you have to wait until teams that are you have to wait for the teams to draft before you know what you can draft, obviously, and GMs aren't telling each other what they are and aren't drafting, because then they would just give away that information, and the draft wouldn't be a draft anymore. It would be, here's the players that these guys have chosen, and they'll see you next week, you know, kind of thing. And it makes the people that scout, like Mel Kiper and Todd McShay, Daniel Jeremiah, Mike Maylock, Bucky Brooks, all these guys that do these, that are scouts and do these mock drafts, as someone who's doing it now and putting it out there, and if anyone ever sees it, be ridiculed for my decisions, I can appreciate how much hard work goes into it. But guys, that doesn't excuse Joey Bosa going in the top 5. Sorry, it doesn't. I only have him going in the top 10 because I have him going to Chicago. I don't know how many times I can say that. I've said that. I think I've said that for the last 3 streams. Joey Bosa is going to Chicago because I want Chicago to suffer. I want Chicago's GM to think that he's making the right decision and then fail miserably, so that Chicago can fail miserably. Because I'm a Lions fan. What have you? Yeah. So I was just watching my crossball there. I've gotten way better at crossing the ball. Obviously, I lead the league in assists as well as goals. I mean, that's just what was going to happen. And yeah, I'll put up if I don't put the difficulty up for next video, when the next season starts, I'll put up the difficulty. Okay, so I don't know anything about the transfer window again still though. Like, when am I allowed to go to Southampton? Does the season end and I get to go, and like my loan's over at that point, or do I have to get 2 players loaned back to Southampton, or can I get loaned to a different team in the Premier League? What goes on at that point? You know, one of the 3 people that watched this video while I was streaming could have answered that for me, but they all left. It made me very sad. It wasn't like DSAC. If any of you watched this series of these videos, my first stream, a person named DSAC got on and left 3 comments in the live stream and then walked away. And one of those was PewDiePie. Yeah, that was a touching memory of that. Things that like I said, I've said this in every video when I've talked about the game itself. I have tried to not go past half the midfield to save stamina. I have asked if playing a forward is too boring, but at this point I'm going to play forward until it's not something I want to do anymore, and then maybe move. Do you see that header? Did you see that sick header? I laid down and then headed it. That's how badass I am. I haven't really got to know any of the players on this team because I wasn't really expecting to be here this long. We did have a run where one guy looked like Jimmy Butler, and one guy had a really red mohawk, and I called him the Red Rooster. But this is my first year into the soccer game, and where the gameplay is repetitive, it's soccer. So if you're going in playing soccer because you like soccer, you're gonna like the gameplay. If you're unsure about playing soccer, you're gonna have mixed feelings, and if you hate soccer, you're not gonna like the gameplay. It's soccer, but it's fun if you like soccer. And if you're a dedicated fan who has a team and knows the players, it's probably even more fun because you're probably doing franchises and trying to trade and all those things. For just an average fan, which I would say I am, I'm not. I watch the soccer. I don't know the players that well. I love the sport. I love the game. And talking through the game, I've had no problem playing 4 games at a time in my normal streams, or how many I play in this stream. It just seems to be it just works out, you know. And it's given me an opportunity to have some good topics. Like the way that I put up these videos has allowed me to make the mock draft video be true, where I can spend a whole video talking specifically about mock drafts. But it also allows me to talk about my other hobbies, just life in general. And I hope that there's not so much variety that it's too loose for people. I want you guys to understand that I'm not doing these videos because I'm looking to get paid. If it ever worked out that way, that's cool, but I wanted a way to vent and a way to also get gameplay in, but be able to socialize. I know it's socializing to no one right now, but people are watching these videos, so and again, if anyone has if anyone has a story, something they need to get off their chest, they need someone to talk to, just to talk about life and stuff, and you come on these streams, and or if you want to leave a message to chat or something like that, guys, I'm very good at listening. Again, I got a psychology degree to be a counselor. A guidance counselor in high school was my aspirations. I don't know if I'm going to go to grad school to fulfill that, because I think I can get a job working doing similar things without it. And given that I'm already a father and a husband, I don't know if going back for a grad school is something that something that's in the cards. It may be later in life, maybe. We'll see. When we were in New York, a lot of parents at schools that I was working at wanted me so badly to end up being a coach at the school, because they thought that I was motivating. I could motivate the youth, and that, again, I wanted to work with kids, so it was, it was a compliment I took. But what I was saying was that, if you come to YouTube because you're looking for someone you could relate to and talk to, I will listen. I can talk. There's a lot of topics I want to cover that I don't know if I have the courage to talk about my own issues, my anxieties, my worries. Well, I guess I brought it up. Might as well start it. have had a problem with people in small doses before a lot of life changes happened, but more recently, in the last year or so, they've manifested to the point where going in public is like large indoor crowds have become a problem. I start getting very anxious, and then by the time I leave, I'm so exhausted. All I want to do is sleep at that point. I was going to counseling when I was in New York, and there wasn't enough time put into the counseling to where a diagnosis could be made. And since we got to New Mexico, I haven't been put into the public that much. Like, if I go to the store, get out, and then have my anxieties when I get home. And I do that, so I don't, for the most part. My wife, who's a counselor, who has a psychology degree, and tells people all the time that are scared of going out in crowds that they have to do it to get better, has been very nice to me to not make me have to do that. But so I try my best to not go in public if I don't have to. Which is why losing a social group like I did is tough. But again, if you're watching and you feel like you ever need someone to talk to, leave a message or comment. Let me know. I could talk about any topic. I've been known to talk people's ears off about anything. Anything, like if we got depression, sports, RPGs, life, adulthood, college, the military, debt, starting a family, divorce. I come from a divorced home. I can talk about that. I don't care. Anything. I do have a passion for sports, which is why most of my videos are centered around that. And again, soccer put in the background because I didn't want to just make a vlog where you guys are looking at nothing. I do want to put some kind of video to the voice. It's just not the same thing, and I understand that. It may not be a system that works for you guys, but it works for me, and I like it, so I'm going to do that. I feel a lot more mellow now that I've gotten, that I've pointed out that there's other things I want to talk about. I just don't foresee that being the general topic of conversation. Like, the topic of conversation will most likely be sports for the most part. But when something comes up, whether it's someone I'm talking to through the stream or if I have an issue, I'm gonna talk about that. And then, hopefully bring it back to sports or role playing or something to that effect. If we ever have a scenario where the live stream chat actually becomes active, I'm more than willing to take the conversation that's going on in the chat and bring it to the video. That's fine too. But again, it's therapeutic for me to get to talk. So if anyone wants to, I will do that.
If you look at the coaching manual, this could be it.
And again, once I get to other sports, when baseball gets here and stuff, we can start doing more like, we can do challenges and stuff like that. If anyone wants to come play against me, if anyone wants to play me against soccer, that's fine too. I'm not good as a team thing. Like, running the one guy it has its difficulties at times, but I'll play. Sure, why not?
This is how the game, many people believe,
you just have to let me know that you want to play, and then we can tag and go from there.
They have, and I love the way they're using the full width of the pitch here.
This is how they love to play on the break.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, again, this is going to probably be the longest video I ever do, because I'm just going to keep going until I don't have anything that I could talk about at all, or my wife gets mad and tells me to come upstairs.
The break is definitely on.
It's a rare Friday night where there's nothing that I have to commit to, and I really want to I wanted to put a stream out. Person watching, if you're watching and you want to chat, do you know anything about the transfer window? I'm like in my 34th game, and I don't know if I can ever get back to Southampton. I transferred to Hamilton. I don't know how to get back. Can I get back, or am I screwed? Are you a real person, or are you a robot? Are you a ham sandwich? Do you know the quote? Yeah, I would like to get back in the Premier League, and you know, try to play against the top players in that league. I did ask in a previous video if anyone could explain to me, like, is the Premier League the top league in the world, or is it the top league just for England? And like, I'm in the Scotland leagues now. Is there a similar Scottish like great league, or is it all about the Premier League? Or is even so, if you live in Scotland or a place where they have another pseudo or a league that's similar to the Premier League, is the Premier League more prestigious than your home country's setup? You know, I don't know these things. So I do know that I've gotten the ball passed to me twice by the opposing team, and I do know that I have the ability to get within 3 feet and kick that goal in. And I like that they keep passing me the ball. I have to say that I'm pretty stoked that there are, even if it's one at a time, there are people that are coming to this stream. I don't expect that there will ever be a person that watches the stream the whole way through, but I don't care. Whatever. Woot! Go us. Won again. We should probably take a peek at my stats. That's probably an important thing to look at. Is there a place for me to look at the records? Oh, hey, we won the Scottish Cup. Does that mean the season's over? Is that the end of a season?
Final.
Oh, I'm gonna do training, and then maybe next time I do a video too, I'll try the training again, because I failed pretty hard at that the first time. But now that my guy's better, maybe it'll make it easier for me to do the training, and then less frustrations will occur. It's always worth a try. But yeah, we just won the Scottish Cup. Is that? I mean, I know that's good, but does that mean that we, like, that's the end of the season? Will it go into a season 2? Do I have? Let's see. Oh, that guy's been injured that thing's been there for a while. Hamilton. It looks like we won the tables at least, and that we won the Scottish Cup. Let's see what the calendar says. The calendar says, wow, I don't have anything going on. Wow, I don't have anything going on for a while. This must be the end of the season. This must be the end of season 1. So end of season 1, my guy ends with an 80 overall. We won the Scottish Cup. We'll look at the stats. I led the league. I led the Scottish Premier League, our Premiership, with 59 goals. My teammate Dick Cole had 20 to be in second. In the Scottish Cup, I had 9 goals. I led the league in assists with 21. Redmond and Augustine were second and third, both from Hamilton with 14 and 11. There are 6 Hamilton players on the assists list, and there are 3 players on the goal list from Hamilton. It goes 15. Well, it goes farther than 15, but in the top 15. Clean sheets. McGrovern from Hamilton had 15 clean sheets. That's got to be a good thing, right? He's the only oh no, there's another one. Martin at 6 had 9. Yellow cards. Cooper's not in the top 15, so I had a clean second half of my season. I didn't fall victim, and I actually got surpassed in red cards. I had 2 the last time we checked this, and I got passed over by Brown from Celtic. He got 3, so I didn't have to worry about that. But yeah, 59 goals. That's got to be really good. But I'm going to simulate, and if anything comes up during the simulations, then we'll go from there. I won't train during the simulation. I can take I'll take the 80 going into the season. Hold on. I got 2 mail here. This is just a quick note to let everyone in the club know that the following players will be leaving for international duties from the 17th of June to the 11th of July. Michael McGrovern's going to Northern Ireland. So that's not even me. Again, I won't train. I'm not going to train through this section. I got Player of the Year. That's cool. That gives me a whole bunch of bumps for my stats. Oh, I'm stopping the sim and I didn't want to do that. So, I'm wondering, because now it says it on top, it says Cooper on loan from South Hamilton. I'm wondering if I'm going to end up back in South Ham now, this year. Be interesting. I'm going to get a drink real quick. Yes, and despite what our late night show hosts say, I am drinking Code Red Mountain Dew. It's my favorite. Simulation is killing me. What is this? Uh-oh. Return to club? Good job on meeting your league goals. Okay. So, yeah, I think I did everything they asked. They wanted a 6.0 or better. I got an 8.4. They asked for 7 goals during the season. I got 59. Minimum of 5 goals for the team. I got 21 projection. Maintain no less than 10% goal to shot ratio. I had 25%. 1/4 of the times that I shot, it went in. Guy's kind of a badass like that. Oh! Fans, look forward to Cooper loan recall. Guess who's going to South Ham, ladies and gentlemen? It took a whole year. I'm a year wiser. I'm a year more talented. I blew up the Scottish Premier League. Well deserved. It's about time. Mr. Cooper heads his way to South Ham to play some Premier League football. Can he do what he did for Hamilton and get them a cup? Time will tell. Well, interesting. Wow. Here I was worried about getting transferred back. I didn't know how it was going to happen. And I finished the first season and I get to go back. So it took, what, 35 games? But I'm back with South Ham. That's cool. I can't argue with that. Now, for anyone who's just watching this video and hasn't watched any of my previous videos, I randomly selected South Ham. And then in the first video, there was a loan put up for me, and I don't understand the loan process, so I accepted it. And ended up playing for Hamilton for the whole season. And we just, previous to this screen, just finished up the Scottish Premier Cup, which we won. And I checked my stats. I had 59 goals, 21 assists, 2 red cards through the whole season. And then I pushed advance, and I'm headed to South Ham to play. I I'm excited because now I'm back in the English Premier League, the league that I watch. We'll see how that goes. I think this might be the moment that once I get to the team, I'm gonna try to switch to jersey, because if you guys all remember, my jersey number for Southam when I first made the character was 99, but when I got sent to Hamilton, they switched me to 13. I don't want to wear 13 anymore. That's crazy. We might have to look to see if there's anything we can buy for the character to make him look cool. I just want to, at this point, like, now that I'm finally in South Hamilton and they're gonna let me play in Southam, I want to look as cool as I possibly can. So let's see. We're gonna go. Oh, we're not gonna do that. We're not doing that. We're gonna go here. No, here. We're gonna go to Edit Pro. And oh, 29. No one wears 29. We're going all the way up. All the way up to 99. All the way up. Now, I don't know where one would go if one was trying to alter their gear. Oh, maybe. I don't want to be tucked in. I want to be untucked. Alright. I don't want to wear a long sleeve. Oh, man. I'm super stoked at this point, man. I was thinking that I was never going to make it back to Southam. I thought that was over. What are these traits? I didn't increase any of these during my time in Hamilton because I just outran people to shoot. I'm still not gonna. I don't want to mess with anything and screw it up. So I got Cooper. He's 99. He looks good with his untucked shirt. He's good to go. Here we go. Let's see. What does the table say? The table says Southam. Wow, Southam's in 14th. We're not in what do they call it? The bottom three. We're not likely to get pushed down to the league, but we're definitely not towards the top. I'm gonna have to change that quick. Let's see. Alright, well, I'll advance a week, and I should be able to get a training out of that. Every 7 days I get a training. So I'll do that. Oh, no. Let's not worry about it. There's a game coming. Cool. Alright, my first game in Southam, I spent a whole season in Hamilton. I just won them the Scottish Premier Cup, and now I'm here in West Ham. I gotta try to get West Ham above Arsenal, above Manchester City, above Manchester United, and get them their championship, their cup. Man, that's a nasty green. All right, I'll go with the red stripes and give them the solid dark greens. All right, cool. This is cool. All right. So here's game one. Yeah, I'm excited. I hadn't got to play with Hamilton yet. I really, really wanted to. I wanted to be in the Premier League from the get-go. Oh, and it's raining. My first game. Cool. So it's raining in Hamilton. Like, we're in control of Hamilton or Southam now. I'm not the captain, but I'm going to be the lead goal scorer. I'm going to have the most assists. I'm going to be the prettiest, and we're going to win the cup. And it's all going to start in the rain. Again, my technique for using a forward in this game is I'm going to try to stay as close to the midfield as I can on defense. Until I get a massive stamina. My stamina is still so low that going back and trying to help on defense makes it where I can barely finish a game. So I'm gonna stick to playing mid, up towards mid, and then call for the ball.
Looks to his assistant, who's got the flag up. It's offside.
And they called me offsides already. But that 99 Southam 99 looks sick, folks. I'm happy.
No doubt that in this part
I'm
of the world, in
excited.
Latin America, everyone's football crazy.
All right. So, yeah. What are we going to talk about now that we're already in Southam? We got the team we wanted. We got the number we wanted. We got the weather we wanted. It just took a whole year to do it. It took 35 games to get to this point where I can play for Southam. Again, because I'm an idiot and I put myself in Hamilton because I accepted the loan. I didn't know that that's how that worked. I'm through. Can't stop me. Ain't no stopping me now. Goal! 1. That's goal 1. You think I can get more than 52? 52 was my Hamilton's season. I got 52 goals in 35 games. I had 21 assists. Yeah, we had a lot of games where it was 6-0, 7-0. Let's see how this goes. 1-0 is a good start. I could have passed there. I could have gotten an assist. I am a creator. That was the forward set I built was a creator, but he also is a greedy American who wants to shoot the ball. So he does so. And see, he splits the D and then bam. Oh, super whammy? No. Oh, not gonna get there. Cool. Awesome. So I'm seeing a flux of in and out of people coming off the stream. If you guys have any suggestions about the gameplay or a topic you want to talk about, please let me know. I'm more than willing to talk while we're going. Until then, I'm just gonna be super stoked because I'm finally on Southam. A year later, I got my guy all the way up to 80 overall while I was in Hamilton. That's an increase of 15 for anyone paying attention. 15. I want 15 statistical points in my time for Hamilton, getting them a cup win. That's huge. That is so huge. That's awesome. I'm stoked. Super happy. And again, the first thing I did, I got to Hamilton. I untucked my jersey and I switched my number to 99. I got back to 99 because Hamilton didn't give me 99 when I got there, and I didn't want to switch to that with them. But and you look at the score. Southam's already got 1. That's me. I scored 1. I did it. I don't know the players that well, so I'm not going to be like, oh, yay, the super guy that got the ball. I just love soccer. So here's my guy dribbling it up. Oh, cuts it out. I'm going to try the cross, get the long cross in. Goal? No. It was headed back. That was a really good play by the guy that I'm going to assume it's the striker of that scenario, because he headed it back to a guy who had a one-timer opportunity, but didn't go in. That's fine. We don't need all of them to go in because we already got the lead. If you're playing from behind when you got Chris Cooper on the opposing team, you're screwed, because I'll just eat the ball. I'll just keep the ball on my side. I'll kick it out of balance on purpose.
Cooper.
Oh, look at that pass. Look at that.
Here's the cross.
Man, cool. So happy to be on Southam. Again, did not choose Southam. I randomly selected a Premier League team, but I wanted to play in the Premier League right away. Screwed it up, but now I'm here. I'm here, year 2, 80 overall. Nothing can stop me. Nothing can stop me. The guy didn't get hurt. I had 2 red flags while I was in Hamilton early in the season. Like the first 10 games, I had 2 red flags, and I thought that was kind of how life was going to be, because I thought I was going to have. I was just going to constantly get in trouble. I don't think I did a slide tackle the last 12 games, and I've just taken the ball from tackling. See, that guy cheated. Guy. That seems to be. Oh, and you're gone. My first game in the Premier League, and you're gone. See ya, Felipe. You go. You gone. Go home. Cool. Cool. I don't think anyone could be more excited about playing in a Premier League game and not know a single player than I am right now. Stoked. So happy. I know, like, Rooney. I know him. And there's other, like, if you showed me other guys, I would know I've seen them before, but again, I mean, I watch Premier League soccer to watch soccer because I love soccer. I don't watch it because I want to know who the guys are. That's not the sport I want to know guys for. The sports I want to know guys for are NFL and the MLB and NBA. So I do. Those are the sports I pay attention to roster spots. Again, earlier in the video I talked about all the sports highlights from today, anything that's happened, including Josh Norman going to Washington on a 5-year deal for $75 million, $50 million guaranteed. He's going to 2 times this season. He's going to have to cover Des Bryant and Odell Beckham. I talked about the passing of Prince and the passing of Chyna, the former WWE wrestler. In previous videos, I have addressed my mock draft, which, if anyone wants to know, Monday I will be putting up my finalized mock draft, barring any trades. That will be the last drafts I put up. I have set that I am going to try to shoot for 75% success rate on players being selected to the number selection, not guaranteeing the team, because I predict that outside of the two trades we saw at the top of the draft, with St. Louis and Philadelphia moving to 1 and 2 respectively, that there will be 5 or 6 more major trades in the first round. If anyone has followed the ESPN articles, they had a lot of fun with the every team trade article, but there was a lot of good trades in there. One of the ones that I talked about in my video earlier today was Sam Bradford going to the New York Jets in exchange for Muhammad Wilkerson, with draft picks being involved as well. That is starting to, I would think, would start to get more and more life as we get closer and closer to the draft, because Sam Bradford wants out of Philadelphia. Asked about it before the trade was finalized, he was like, "Well, I don't tend to worry about that." As soon as the trade was finalized, what did he do? Request a trade. He didn't request a trade, but he's made it apparent that he would like to be out of town if he's going to have that many quarterbacks. But you shouldn't worry, because as I've said in all of my draft videos, none of these quarterbacks are ready to go play pro ball right now. And, they're going to have to wait. So what do? Sam shoots Sam Pat, but the Eagles may offer it. They may give him his request, especially if the Jets are willing to trade Muhammad Wilkerson. Other possible trade candidates that we talked about that NFL.com has brought up, Jamal Charles, who I didn't know was really on the block. I just thought that it was considered he was a possibility later because of his age. He's getting older as a running back, but it was interesting that talking my way through that Jamal Charles conversation, that Miami came up. Miami's likely going to be looking for a running back, and has been rumored to want Ezekiel Elliott pretty bad, but they could get Jamal Charles for a 1 or 2 year fix at the position. Running backs are a little bit easier to come across than the other talent. I think we got to talk about the Jets a little bit longer than what we just did, though, because the Paxton Lynch thing is really still bothering me pretty bad. How is Paxton Lynch even a possibility to be in the first round, guys? I guess it makes sense in the same draft that Joey Bosa is an option for the 4th overall pick, that Paxton Lynch would be an option as a quarterback in the first round. It's just ridiculous. Paxton Lynch is 3 years away from starting in the NFL, if he starts ever. And there are teams that are considering him a first-round pick. And yeah, I've ranted about this a couple different times. And yeah, I've ranted about the Joey Bosa issue a couple different times. Guess what? Those are big issues to me, so I'm going to keep talking about them. There's no goddamn reason that Joey Bosa should be considered the 4th overall pick in this draft. Joey Bosa shouldn't even be a top 10 pick. And again, no disrespect to Joey Bosa, but every scout that's watching the NFL draft that says this is a poor draft for pass rushers, and the scouts can't even agree to who is the best pass rusher in this bad class. Some people are saying it's Shaq Lawson. Some people saying it's Kevin Dodd. And some people are saying it's Joey Bosa. But in a bad class where you're not even guaranteed to be the best pass rusher in your group, you should not be the 4th overall pick. Especially when there's better talent there in this draft. You know, Jalen Ramsey, who I've said every video, is the best player in this draft. And he's got a chance to be there for you at 4 because Tunsil is the only true left tackle in this draft. And yes, I understand that Ronnie Stanley and Jack Conklin can play the position, but I think they're both going to end up playing right tackle in this league. And the reason is because they are talented and gifted enough to be Pro Bowler right tackles, and they're just going to be everyday starting left tackles. They're going to make their money on the right side. But Tunsil can make his money as a Pro Bowler and be a left tackle. He could start his career as a right tackle and play for a team that's already got a left tackle in the scenario that I presented where the Cleveland Browns take him before they traded the pick. Cleveland takes him instead of trading the pick and puts him on the right side and lets Joe Thomas play left tackle. And then when Joe Thomas leaves, Tunsil becomes a left tackle. Now San Diego has that option because they have King Dunlap on the left side. They could bring Tunsil in as their right tackle, and then when Dunlap leaves, Tunsil gets moved over to left. And then Phillip Rivers has 2 great tackles to lead him in a division that should be obtainable this year because Denver's going to be down. Because Denver, as of right now, has Mark Sanchez as their quarterback. And Mark Sanchez, despite his success in New York, it was the defense that was the success, by the way. New York defense is what got Mark Sanchez as far as they did in any of the years they had success in the playoffs. So, could Denver's defense do the same thing? Yeah, I guess they could. But Denver's defense lost some players in free agency. Von Miller's still not under contract, so who knows what his motivation going into the season is going to be like. So Denver's likely to have a down season, and San Diego, Oakland, and Kansas City have to be prepared to take the reins when those opportunities present themselves. As far as Philadelphia, I feel like they overpaid for their pick because I don't think either of the quarterbacks are worth a first overall or second overall grade. I also don't think that
I'm not sure he's got that one right. You know, I think
they're worth the first overall pick by far. San Diego gets the steal. Well, it may not be the steal of the draft, but it's definitely a steal early because they get the best player in the draft because 2 teams drafted for need the crazy way. Went and spent picks to go up to draft for need instead of drafting for need when it came along. It's bonkers how this has went so far. The talks of San Diego trading their pick has calmed down quite a bit in the last 24 hours. I don't suspect that San Diego will be moving out of the 3rd pick anymore. But there's talk that Jalen Ramsey is the target. Listen, I'm a Jalen Ramsey guy. I think, again, he's the best player in the draft. San Diego's not taking him 3rd. Because every year there's a defensive back. There's a guy. And in some years there's lots of them. But there's one left tackle in this draft. And if you don't go get him at the 3rd pick, you don't get a left tackle. That's the end of the story. And he's bland. He has a little bit of injury issue. And that could be a red flag to where San Diego doesn't take him. I just can't see them not taking him. Because he doesn't have to play left tackle right away. So you get him for a year in the weight room, in the film room, reading the playbook with your head coaches. And then if Dunlap sticks around, he's your right tackle for a couple years. If Dunlap's not around, he's your left tackle immediately. But he's gotten a year in your system. We're talking about the quarterbacks that are going to go 1 and 2 that need a year in the system before they'll be ready to take the field. And they're going 1 and 2. But we're not going to pay the same privilege to number 3. Number 3, the guy's going to play. He's going to play. He's just not going to play his natural position or the position that he's destined to play. And in return, he's going to get stronger. He's going to learn your offense. And he's going to go into year 2 and be dominant. If he's not already dominant in year 1, he's going to be a good left tackle. He's going to be a really good left tackle when he gets a chance, but he's going to be a Pro Bowl right tackle if he's there for a couple years. I don't want to say as a rookie he's going to be a Pro Bowler, but there's nothing ruling that out. He's got the talent to play, to do it. It's just a matter if it happens or not. San Diego has great success. It's going to be based around if Tunsil can play. And if he can play good, play well. So that means at 4, you're looking at the Cowboys. And the Cowboys had Morrisgate. And for anyone who doesn't know what Morrisgate was, Morrisgate is... I totally forgot that the Cowboys signed Alfred Morris when I made my first mock draft, and I said that there was no way that the Cowboys could pass on Ezekiel Elliott because their starting running back going into the year was going to be Darren McFadden. After I heard that, or after I saw that Alfred Morris was a Cowboy, that need goes away. A lot of guys, like a lot of scouts on NFL Network and ESPN are saying that having Ezekiel Elliott brings the Emmitt Smith to the Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin 3-0 that won them the Super Bowls. But they haven't seen a snap out of Alfred Morris yet. So I'm going to assume, I put my big boy pants on for my edit, and I said that this is where Jalen Ramsey goes. I hate to see Jalen Ramsey in a Cowboy uniform, and I hate to not have him on the Lions roster, but Jalen Ramsey, the best player, in my opinion, in the draft, is going to go to a position of need in Dallas. He's going to improve their secondary immediately, whether he plays corner or safety. Probably corner. It sounds like a lot of teams are grading him more as a corner and less of a safety for size reasons. Though with the quote-unquote hand issues, the lack of interceptions that they were talking about, you would think they'd want him more at safety. But whatever. I'm not going to argue with the general managers too much. But it just makes more sense that probably Jalen Ramsey is the 4th overall pick and not Joey Bosa. And every scout that put Joey Bosa as the number 4 pick needs to reconsider their philosophy on how they scout. Because every time I bring up Joey Bosa, I'm going to bring up the fact that he's not even guaranteed to be the first or the best pass rusher in this draft. And that's admitted by the people that are making these ranking systems. Joey Bosa could be the 3rd best pass rusher in this draft, behind 2 Clemson players in Shaq Lawson and Kevin Dodd. And he is considered to be the first defensive pass rusher off the board. Bullshit. He's not going 4. So that's crap. He's gone. He's not going 5 either, by the way, because Jacksonville, if they're staying still and Miles Jack's on the board, Miles Jack's injury concerns are gone, guys. Those things are gone. His knee clears. He's rejected there being an issue. The doctors are saying there's no issue. He's the best linebacker in the draft, and he's one of the last blue chippers, I believe, that are in this draft. Again, for anyone who hasn't watched any of my previous videos, there are 5 blue chip athletes in this draft. Guys that are instant Pro Bowlers if they can live up to their potential. Tunsil, Ramsey, Jack, DeForest Buckner, and Ezekiel Elliott. The other players in this draft can be starters, can be stars, but I don't see the same potential for them going to the Pro Bowl. Like, when the season ends this year, if the 5 guys I mentioned are in the Pro Bowl, I'm not shocked. If any of the other rookies are in the Pro Bowl, I'm shocked. I am blown away. Well, I'm not blown away, because I said they're good players that could go to the Pro Bowl if they earned it, but I wouldn't suspect it to be the case. So, Miles Jackson is coming off the board before Joey Bosa. DeForest Buckner should come off the board before Joey Bosa. These are dust statements. I'm every time I've brought up the Joey Bosa thing, I think I've got more and more enraged, because it's just, what asinine statement is there to be had with the sentence, the 3rd best pass rusher is the 4th overall pick, when 2 of the picks prior to him are already established to be quarterbacks? To everyone who hears this, please understand, I do not hate Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa. I don't hate him. I don't hate him. I don't want everyone to think that this rant that I go on every time I get to him is about a dislike of him as a person or a player. It's not the case. But he's not the guy you go after when you have needs and you want to fill. He's not the guy you go after when you're that early in the draft and you have other needs. It's just, you can go other directions. It doesn't make any sense. DeForest Buckner should go ahead of him as well. In my head, the 3 tackles should go ahead of him. Ronnie Stanley, Jack Conklin should be able to say safely that they're going before Joey Bosa in this draft. Because most of the teams at the top of the draft could use offensive line help. And this is a deep defensive tackle draft. Well, that's not pass rushing. Well, yeah, but if you think that you're going to solve your pass rushing issues by drafting outside linebackers and defensive ends, you're not going to win Super Bowls. You have to fill the other positions too. And there are some... DeForest Buckner from the defensive tackle position is going to get some sacks, guys. He's going to be a pass rusher from the defensive tackle position. Plus, he has the talent to move out and play end. Leonard Floyd, the linebacker, can put his hand in the dirt and play end or play linebacker. At his size, he's got the sizes to do it, and I can't wait to see him. I don't care what team he plays for, whatever team he plays for, it should be a lot of fun to watch him play. He is also considered to be one of the best pass rushers in this draft. So my Joey Bosa argument comes up again. If Joey Bosa is the 4th best defensive the 4th best pass rusher, how does he go 4th overall when the first 2 picks are quarterbacks? He doesn't. He doesn't. America, Europe, China, do you hear me? Australia, way over there, do you guys hear me? If Joey Bosa goes 4th, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to be still a little upset if he goes 5th, and I'll be a little perturbed if he goes before the 2 tackles. It's at that point that Joey Bosa has some leverage. He could go. Not because the other defensive ends are off the board, but because, you know, if you value Joey Bosa over the other defensive ends, he could go. Notice I didn't say any of the other defensive ends went at this point either. Because in my mind, I'm trying to think like an NFL GM. And the NFL GM is going to say Joey Bosa is the best defensive end, and my argument for that goes back to a video I made a couple days ago where I talk about his pedigree being the reason that he's going to go above the other defensive ends. Clemson's defensive ends, this has been, one of the scouts said, one of the analysts said this today on NFL.com. Clemson defensive ends have struggled to succeed in the NFL. And that stigma, along with the fact that Joey Bosa's coming from Ohio State, which is going to be one of the most represented teams in the first round,
Here comes the cross.
Is going to lead to him to being the first pick from the pass rushers. Not his talent. His talent's not going to be the reason he gets picked. He's average. Like, as far as NFL athletics go, he's average. He's got a motor, but guess what? Guys getting paid millions of dollars will have motors. That will happen. He's going to be... I can't wait to see him versus Tunsil. Because Tunsil's going to shut him down. And for anyone that's like, well, this happened, this time they got together and needing to get shut down. Well, when they get to the pros, Tunsil's going to shut him down. Because Joey Bosa plays on the right side too, which, guess what? If you're a right end, you're going... Oh, I mean, he switches sides. When you're matched up against the left tackle all the time, that makes you a better athlete. Or that means you're a bigger threat. Bosa took some opportunities to go on the other side. Now, what does that mean? It's just a thing that analysts are pointing out to why Joey Bosa is not going to go as high. Because a lot of people that aren't paying attention to the draft as an entirety are making him out to sound like he is a Pro Bowl caliber defensive end going into the NFL this season, and he's not, guys. He's just not ready. He could go into the gym and blow up and be a film hog and just tear it up and have a great season. I could be completely right. But he has to do those things to get to the... Like, he's going to go to the gym. I know, obviously, he works out. He's obviously studying. He's a good player. But, I mean, again, there's not even a consensus he's the best pass rusher in the draft. Why is he the first one coming off the board? And why is he coming off in a position where there's... If you don't... You say that there's other positions where there's guys that are blue chip, and no one's arguing that. Jalen Ramsey's the best defensive back. Tunsil's the best offensive lineman. Elliott's the best running back. Mack is the best linebacker. Buckner's the best down lineman. Defensive. And there's no arguments about that. Mel Kiper's crazy ass is trying to say there is, and saying that Jack Conklin might be the best player in the draft. Huh? No. No. Mel Kiper trying to say Jack Conklin is going to be a day one left tackle. Yeah. In the same sense that Riley Reef is a first day left tackle. He can play the position. He's not going to the Pro Bowl at that position. Mel, when he said that, I lost it to a TV. Huh? No. No, sir. I'm not having it. Joey Bosa who? Joey Bosa what? No. I did mention this in the earlier video. Jalen Smith is in a mock draft going to a team in the second round. Jalen Smith, if anyone doesn't know, is a Notre Dame linebacker who tore his ACL and LCL, is likely going to miss all of this season. Tragic. People are saying there's a chance he may not be able to get back to his form that he was in his junior year, or the way he was before the draft.
Set it up well for the cross. Jay Rodriguez.
There are guys that are going to not get picked in the first round of this draft because they had medicals. Miles Jack, in some scouts' minds, has fallen into the teens because of a medical that's been proven false. And you're going to have Jalen Smith, it's near guaranteed that he's not going to play. Outside of being guaranteed, it's been near guaranteed that he won't play this season. And they scouts have given him a second-round grade. People don't have that privilege at second round, or they don't have that liberty, because the second round you're still looking for starters. And it's sad for Jalen, but I think, I mean, if he gets drafted in the 4th or 5th round in this draft, and gets redshirted, which is the term they're using for guys that don't get to play the year one, he should be happy because he got drafted. Because there's no guarantee he's getting back to the form he was in. And I would love to see him play. I mean, I accidentally put him in as a Lion in the 1st round after I knew about his injury. Because I was like, well, by the time the season gets here, he'll have had 6 months. He could be back for the end of the season or the playoffs. And it's like, you know, he's probably not going to play at all this season, even for a team that makes the playoffs. And next year he's going to be coming in rusty. If he gets a 4th or 5th round grade, guys, it speaks to what people expect of him still. But I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't go until later. It's just one of those things where, like, how are their scouts that are medicaling Miles Jack out of the top 5 and then having a guy that can't play at all this season in the 2nd round? Like, I know it would be a great story if he could play, and you know, he got drafted early because of what he did, and maybe he doesn't ever play an NFL snap, but you know, people drafted him and he can take that home. And in real life, that's not going to happen. In real life, he sits at home probably trying to stretch out his knee. As someone who tore his LCL, the rehab for that's a pain in the dick. And when you're stretching that out, watching the draft, Jalen, I hope you don't take offense on Thursday or Friday, because your name's going to be brought up a lot, especially Friday, because the guys calling the draft are going to want the feel-good story of you going 2nd or 3rd round. But dude, you're a GM cannot. They're risking their career if they take a guy who can't play in the season, and they know that going into the season in the 2nd round. It can't happen. It's a great story because, you know, it just speaks to how talented he is and how talented you are, Jalen, but sorry, it's not going to happen. And that brings me to another guy that's got a flag, and that's that Kandichi, the defensive tackle from Ole Miss. Guys, I've watched his interviews.
We have got confirmation that
he has not said anything bizarre. I mean, outside of the fact that when asked what quarterback do you want to sack, he immediately said it, Andy Dalton, and didn't really have a reason for it. He just said it. I mean, do you have to have a reason? I mean, it's Andy Dalton. Who cares? He's not a top. I mean, it's not a top quarterback, but I mean, you asked the question, he answered it. In psychological terms, he did exactly what you asked. I mean, there's something to speak of when it comes to the fact that he gave an answer that doesn't speak to top caliber talent, but you know, people are saying that he's got a discontinued associations with his brother because his brother's a bad influence. Listen, if the NFL is as much of a family as the NFL players want you to make it sound like it is, when he gets to the pros, he should have a brotherhood to go to.
It's going to be a throw.
And if you have the leadership, if you're a GM that has the leadership that you say you have in your locker room, drafting a young man who says that there's no issues shouldn't be to the point where you're telling him he's got to get rid of his brother. Like, you're telling a guy to get rid of his family because he's a negative influence. Be a positive influence. Let the boy, the young man, fail. But don't. This guy's looking for a job right now.
Well, he's just feathered that into the right-hand side. That is a wonderful.
What are you going to do if he's been, like, he knows he's got first-round talent?
Good look here again
and
the replay of the goal.
His red flags, he can explain why they're not red flags, and they're legitimately good reasons that they're not red flags. And then this guy gets passed over in the first round. I did it because I scratched him to Detroit again at 16, and then I took him off here because as much as I wanted the feel-good story of the guy who didn't do anything wrong but has a red flag get drafted, and I was like, you know what, bring him to Detroit, because if he's got a bad attitude and it doesn't work out, he might as well not work out for my team. I've gotten used to Detroit not doing well. But this young man, in all of his interviews, outside of the fact that he said he wanted a Panther, and honestly, sometimes you can't read people's personality when they're being sarcastic. But
just love having the ball, this fella. Just lent it to his teammate.
This guy, he could miss out on a first round, getting drafted in the first round, something he's dreamed of his whole life, because of a red flag and someone telling him that he needs to get rid of his brother.
None of his teammates could get near that cross.
And it hurts. That hurts a lot. This guy, he's probably the second most physically gifted defensive tackle in this draft. And that's including, that's saying DeForest Buckner early in the draft. And teams are going to pass on him. He's going to make it into the 20s. He's going to be there for Seattle or Kansas City or Carolina maybe or Denver. And he's got talent where he could be in the top 10. How's that fair? Because he's got a red flag. Because they want him to get rid of his brother. Watch his interviews. His interviews are very interesting because he's honest, he's up front, and it scared Steve Mariucci that when he had a comment or a question in what quarterback do you want to get sacked, he was the only man that came up and answered the question, and shocked Steve Mariucci because he hadn't answered. How is that his fault? That's crap. Watch him. Kamdichi, defensive tackle, Ole Miss. My heart will break if he slips out of the first round. He's got talent to play in the first round. There should be a GM in the first round that thinks that they have a locker room strong enough to help a player if they think he's that bad. And again, I guess this is my rant about scouting, because Miles Jack is got a red flag because of his knee. There's no red flag. Jalen Smith is still projected to be a second-round pick. He can't play next year. He has a knee injury. He won't play next year. And then the red flag on Kendichi is going to get him dropped, possibly into the second round. He won't make it out of the second round, and whoever gets him is getting a steal. And shame on every team that passes on him, because that's crap. So, in my video earlier today, I talked about the receivers of this draft. I'm not the only one that's saying that this is a poor receiving class. Early in the post-college season, Detroit was slated to take a receiver. Everyone should know that wasn't going to happen, even if Calvin Johnson retired. If they take a first-round receiver, Detroit has submitted to not winning this season, because there's too much talent in other positions for them to take a receiver. Come on, that's crazy talk. But there are teams that are looking at receiver. Now, it's interesting because I had Treadwell from Ole Miss going to the Giants in the first round because Victor Cruz is, like, he's saying that he's good, but he's been hurt a lot. And I want someone on the other side of Odell Beckham Jr., especially now that Josh Norman is playing for Washington, because if he's as good of a corner as he was last year, Odell Beckham is going to be covered a lot. Like, he's not going to get, you may throw at him still, but you're risking getting the ball picked. So you want to have an option, and I think drafting Treadwell for the Giants made sense. If they feel better about Victor Cruz than I do, they don't draft a receiver. They could go defense. Leonard Floyd makes sense too, if he's available.
Well, here we are at the Las Americas.
But the receiving class, I mean, this is the problem that we're running into with the receiving classes. Is
well, the players gradually get fitter, had a couple of games.
The two of the top four receivers are speed guys. The track guys. Will Fuller has been noted by scouts to say that if you want him to run a streak or a post, he's fine. But complicated route systems, he's going to have to learn. Okay, well, I don't want my number 2 receiver to have to do that. I want my 2, 3, and 4 receivers in this draft should know how to do that. And I think it's the same thing with the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks and the receivers are not ready for the NFL. But yet they're going to get overdrafted because teams think that they need to have them this year immediately, right away. And for anyone who doesn't understand this, both the teams that moved up in the first round, so we're talking about the Rams and Philadelphia, have planned to not start the quarterback they draft this year. Understand this. That means that the guys they draft this year are going to sit the whole season because they know they're not ready to go to the NFL. They both have work. And these guys are going to go 1 and 2.
If you look at the coaching manual, you don't defend.
There was no other way it could be done. No other way.
Just off target. Yeah, unlucky.
Tennessee and Cleveland were willing to sell their picks, and someone was stupid enough to pay for them. Now, Cleveland could still screw this up pretty bad. If they don't have a good draft, if they don't make sure that RG3 has protection, he could flop. But this could be a position for him to rejuvenate his career, for sure. And I think it starts with them drafting linemen and drafting. Oh man, if Ezekiel fell to 8 and they drafted him, I would be okay with that. I don't see Ezekiel falling that far because my system is, there are 5 blue chip players in this draft: Tunsil, Ramsey, Buckner, Elliott, and Jack. And the draft, the philosophy of the draft is those should be the first 5 players off the board. But now we know that quarterbacks are going 1 and 2, so that means the first 7 picks should be established. Cleveland's drafting 8. So, with that said, we should have an understanding that Cleveland shouldn't be getting one of the blue chip players. But someone's going to be crazy enough to argue that Joey Bosa is a blue chip player, and that's not the case. Or that Ronnie Stanley or Jack Hocklin are playable left tackles and therefore should be considered blue chip. Guys, neither one of those guys are Pro Bowl left tackles. Neither one of them. They have a chance for Pro Bowl at right tackle. They have a chance to be really good right tackles. But Tunsil's the only left tackle in this draft. I'm going to keep saying that until someone either hears me or it's proven. because that's the facts of this draft. There's one left tackle. There are 4 right tackles. There's 2 guards. There's a center. There's 1 tight end. There is a whole bunch of defensive tackles. There are a couple of running backs. There are no quarterbacks. There are very little receivers. And this is where the Colts GM's philosophy of if you draft for need, you're weak, I agree with, because teams that are drafting for need are showing their weaknesses.
Goes for it with a fist.
And it may not be the weakness that the GM, Indy's GM was going for, in the sense that you're weak because you draft to fill a hole, but it may be more that you're weak because you believe you have a hole. Again, I'm a psychology major, so I see that and I go, well, that's a possibility. That's what he could mean, but he's a football guy, so I'm assuming it's more along the lines of, oh, you're filling a hole, and not that you think you have a hole. But I would look at it like that. A team that says that they're trying to fill a hole believes that they have a hole.
That's a useful ball in.
And that's the mantra that they're presenting to their team. Hey guys, yeah, we needed to fill a hole because we had a problem. Well, guess what? You're not going into the draft with 0 guys in that position. Most likely. Most likely you're bringing at least 1 guy from any position in the draft, or any position in offense or defense, to your camp. So you're telling the guy that's already in your roster, hey, you're not the guy. And that's why a Sam Bradford would want to get out of there as quick as possible. Sam is, if he gets traded, he may not find that the grass is that much greener, because he could end up in San Francisco, and he already dealt with Chip Kelly once. But you know, that's where showing your weakness becomes a problem. I never thought I was going to agree so much with the GM as I do with the Colts in that one sentence. Much more could be said about a disagreement, but in that one sentence, I agree with the Colts GM. So, like I said, the receiving core, or the receiving prospects, not that great. Quarterbacks, we already know the 2 of them are going off the board, but as far as like the position grade, it's not a great quarterback class, guys. Like I said earlier in my video earlier today, Goff was the only quarterback I had going in the first round after the college season. He's the only quarterback. In my head, when I saw the first top 50 and I saw so many defensive tackles and an assortment of running backs and, you know, a couple of good linebackers, I was thinking to myself, oh, this is going to be a very fun draft because teams are going to want to go do stupid things, aren't going to be able to. And then they did them anyways. They sold the freaking farm to go do stupid things. Come on. Ridiculous. But let's talk about some other. Okay, so we talked about receivers, talked about quarterbacks, running backs.
Cooper.
I'm not a fan of the first round running back. It's hard to sell, especially since if everyone. I mean, there's going to be a team that's going to want a running back bad enough to take it in the first round, and there are talented running backs in this draft. But you know, if you have one running back, you don't have enough, and if you have 3, you have too many. It's that delicate balancing act of having the right number of running backs for your team. And I don't know. Like there's 4 or 5 good running backs that could go between round 1 and 2. In the same respect, in the poor quarterback class, there's also 3 quarterbacks that could go in the second round. So, you know, there's upwards of what, 10 or 11 defensive tackles that could go in the first and second round. But yet we're talking about the quarterbacks going 1 and 2. I just, it hurts my head. It really does. Guys, I've seen a couple. Okay, so predictions for the draft. Ogba, who I have in the late end of the first round, is projected to fall out of the first round in the draft. I'm not changing. I think he's still going to go in the first round. Hunter Henry has not seen a whole lot of first round play. I still think he's a first round player. Because again, Paxton Lynch, Connor Cook, who's the other quarterback that they're talking about as being...
Cavallo. The ball has gone up to indicate 3 added minutes.
The other quarterback they're talking about being a possible answer. I don't know why my camera just changed. I'm going to switch that back. They're talking about Connor Cook having a chance to go in the first round because Paxton Lynch is going to have a commodity now? You got to be freaking kidding me. How does... I don't know how to be angry about this anymore. How is Paxton Lynch going in the first round of any draft?
William Cavallo. Cisse.
How? Oh, shit. Shit, sorry about that. I was just trying to push buttons in hopes that I would hit the button that got my camera back, because I couldn't switch my camera back. And this is not... I don't like this camera. I want the end-to-end really bad. The end-to-end camera will make me happy. Yes. I want that camera. I want that camera.
Dusan Tadic.
What the hell happened?
It's a real tussle between the two of them.
I don't know what happened here. Guys, pretty sure... Is it pro?
And that's half time.
I don't know how the camera switched.
Just a change now.
Okay, that looks more like the camera I had. Maybe once I get to the ball. Yeah, that's probably the camera I had.
This fascinating fixture.
Okay, well that's good. Sorry about that. I'm seeing a lot of good stuff over here on the people. I've had one person watching pretty consistently. If there's anything you want to talk about sports, the NFL draft in the chat, please let me know. We can also talk about soccer. I don't know as much about the league, but let me know. I'm going to continue with my draft information though. So again, I go back to Mel and Todd's alternating GM draft,
William Cavallo.
And I scratched my head to why this was even an option.
It's a foul by the Southampton player.
Because you could just put Mel and Todd next to each other and have 2 drafts go up, just so a fan can see both their finalized first-round drafts, instead of having them alternate, because they screw each other's drafts up.
And it's a header.
And it doesn't make any sense, because you want to see what each one of the scouts have to say about the whole pool of prospects.
Yeah, what a good time.
And we're left looking at the draft going, okay,
And it's a headed effort at goal.
neither of you know what you're talking about.
But it didn't turn out that way.
And then when Mel Kiper says that Jack Hockland's got a chance to be the best player in the draft, we know that they don't know what they're talking about. Mel Kiper has been doing this way too long. He's either went insane or he's trolling everybody. Because you don't say things like Jack Hockland is the best player in the draft when Jack Hockland's not going to even be the best right tackle in this draft. Because Ronnie Stanley, I think, is the better right tackle out of the two of them. And then I think Tunsil's the best tackle out of the bunch. And left tackle is an option. So, you know, that's where that's at. Like, you don't... I think Mel... I think sometimes he lets his heart or his emotions make the pick for him. And, you know, that usually leads to making a poor pick. I said I had a gut feeling about the draft, and I'm not switching it. And that's the Ogba to Green Bay. I mean, there's a lot of picks that the scouts were saying that I had blocked already, so I was like, okay, the scouts and I agree. Either we're all going to be wrong, or I'm going to get right. Again, I'm shooting for 75% prospect number correlation. So that meaning that I do expect a lot of trades, but I expect that you know, player X will fall to this number in the draft, and whichever team is drafting that position will draft that player. Because I expect so many first-round moves, I can't go out of my way and predict all of the trades. I do like some of the trades that have been put up on NFL.com, where the Jets are moving. Denver looks at Mike Lennon. Jamal Charles moving, I guess, is a thing. I didn't necessarily think Jamal Charles had to go anywhere, but apparently the people that write for NFL do. I understand, too, that they got to write articles at this point in the year, so they're just looking for players that, you know, have a reason to leave or have a reason to be traded, and they're just writing an article about it. I mean, in the same vein, you could say, okay, well, Joey Bosa's got to go to New York Jets because JPP blew off his fingers. What? He doesn't have to go to the Giants. I'm sorry, not the Jets. He doesn't have to go to the Giants at all, and he doesn't have to go to the Giants because of the reason I listed. But it's a good article, right? You know, people are going to read it. I'm sure people are watching these streams that I'm making because I'm putting NFL in the title. I'm putting mock draft. I know that the videos I've made that have the word mock draft in it have got the most views. I'm not baiting you guys. I'm giving you mock draft material. I'm giving you my information. I'm giving you my opinion, but it's coming out in scout form. I'll tell you what. I've been adamant that I am not a scout, but I really, really want to. I put a lot of passion into this draft, so I'm gonna do a lot of work. As long as I can put videos on YouTube, I'm gonna continue every year to do the same thing, where I'm gonna give mocks and I'm gonna give my opinions and stuff. Let's get back to the players, though, okay? Kevin Dodd. Some believe to be the best. There are a circle of people that believe that he could be the best defensive pass rusher in the draft by this formula only. Shaq Lawson could be better than Kevin Dodd. That is a stood point by some scouts. Kevin Dodd could be better than Shaq Lawson. That is an opinion held by some scouts. Maybe not necessarily the same scouts. But in the scenario where both of those statements are true, Kevin Dodd is the best defensive lineman in the draft. The best pass rusher in the draft. I don't have him going in the top 20.
Possibly a chance to add to their lead.
There's some scouts that don't even have Kevin Dodd going in the first round. Again, in a weak draft of defensive ends, there is a possible scenario where Kevin Dodd is the best pass rusher in the draft, and he may not be a first-round pick. Why? I don't know. He's a Clemson defensive end, and that has a possibility of scaring people away because, again, Clemson defensive ends have not panned out in the NFL that well. So, you know, you have to do your research, but, I mean, if you're asking him to pass rush, if he's got the ability to pass rush, he's got the ability to pass rush.
Well, this attack has got a bit of menace to it.
Does he do it better or worse than Shaq Lawson and Joey Bosa? I don't know.
They're passing it well here.
But if he goes where I have him going, he'll be a 10-sack rookie year. He'll be a possible defensive rookie of the year because he's going to be put in a system where it'll work for him. I don't want to predict rookie of the years right now, defensive or offensive. Again, I'll do stuff like that after the third preseason game because I want to see these guys in action in the pros, in the NFL. I want to see what they do differently than what they did in college to see the change from college to pros. Most of the time from college to pros, you see the pro molding in the third preseason, and you see that change, that slight change that makes the player a pro. I want to see that before I go ahead and pick it, but early predictions are there is only one offensive player in the first round. If a second, third round talent comes up and takes offensive rookie of the year, that's cool. But right now, Ezekiel Elliott's probably your offensive rookie of the year.
84 minutes gone, 6 minutes left.
Barring injury, he's the best offensive player that could get drafted or that could get picked for it. Because offensive linemen usually don't get that honor. It's usually a statistical guy, a receiver, quarterback, or running back, tight end, I guess. I don't even think a tight end necessarily gets his fair shake. So Ezekiel Elliott's, I mean, at this point, it's already kind of been handed the award because he's the only offensive player in the draft that's worth the smoke right now. Now he goes in the first preseason game and gets hurt, then obviously that's not the case. But and then again, a guy fall. I have a running back falling later in the draft to a team that's known for running. So maybe he is the answer. I don't know. We'll see. Defense. Well, my opinion, the best player in the draft is Jalen Ramsey. Statistically, he's not going to put up stats that's going to win him Defensive Player of the Year, though, because he does not catch the ball. So look towards probably Miles Jack. He's going to be all over the field. Would be interesting Floyd, because Floyd is going to have the opportunity to put his hand in the dirt and play linebacker, so he could be an option. He could be a little bit more diverse. But usually this goes to the guy that's already on an established team. So later in the rounds, you're looking at guys that are already on a team that do well. Was it Peters? The Kansas City defensive back who won it last year. Kansas City was a good team. Like, that's just how it works out sometimes. I don't know. It could be. It's not going to be one of the quarterbacks because, again, not expected to see those quarterbacks this year, unless the starter struggles. Which, come on, guys. Yeah, the starter's going to struggle because in both scenarios, there's two quarterbacks behind him. Nick Foles is probably going to start the season for the Rams, unless he gets traded on draft day, which is a possibility, and a quarterback I hadn't mentioned about being traded. Because I think St. Louis is more set on letting Nick Foles and Case Keenum be the 1-2 and let Goff sit hard. Whereas Philadelphia is kind of considering Wentz starting somewhere in year one. Bradford's probably going to get traded, and probably during draft day week. If Bradford and Foles both get traded, a year after they both got traded for each other, I mean, you really got to scratch your head, especially when they both could get traded off of teams that are going to bench they're year one players. Well, then what are you trading them for? You need someone to play quarterback. I haven't got a phone call yet. I don't want to play for either one of those teams. So I don't want to play football. Come on. I wouldn't get to play soccer and talk to all you people. That wouldn't happen. At my draft, I'm not trying to give out like my draft. I'm just giving you some insight to it without giving away the picks. I have 2 running backs in my first round as of right now. I have 3 cornerbacks, and I feel like one of them is a stretch. No, I have 4 cornerbacks, and I feel like 2 of them are a stretch. I do have 3 quarterbacks in the first round now. I had said in earlier videos that I wasn't going to put a 3rd quarterback in the first round because I'm already sad that there's 2, given the grades on these guys. So, but there's 3 quarterbacks, there's 4 defensive backs, there's a handful of receivers. Guys, these are all the positions that were down this year. With the deep draft at defensive tackle, I feel like the same number of defensive tackles would go any other year in the first round. It's disgusting. It makes me mad. I want so bad to tell teams to take the best player available, and teams are just going to tell me no. I need a number 1. I need a number 1 corner, and I don't have it yet. So I'm going to go make this guy number 1 corner, even though he's got a 2nd round grade because he's at best a number 2 corner. But I'm going to make him my highlight player. And that's not to say that these guys can't pan out, but you'll see. I mean, when the draft comes, I'm not going to be the only one that scratches my head when these picks are made. Because I scratched my head putting this together. I'm looking at it going, you know, this shouldn't be the case, but, you know, I had to put my ego aside and go, well, this shouldn't be the case, but that's still going to happen, you know. Again, if anyone has any opinions on the NFL draft and wants to get their voice in, please let me know. We could have a discussion about where your team's picking, if your team's picking at all. If you're a New England fan, I don't want to hear about it. You're dirty cheaters, and you deserve to have your pick taken away. Listen, the balls were deflated. It doesn't matter if it was done by your will or by the player just trying to help Tom Brady. It doesn't matter if Tom Brady knew, except for Tom Brady being suspended or not being suspended. What does matter is that it happened. So the penalty has to be taken care of. Listen, if Josh Gordon can miss 2 years for drugs, New England can lose a first rounder for deflating the footballs, whether whoever's guilty in it or not. You know, if the shitty league that is the NFL won't let Tim Tebow play football, then God damn it, the New England Patriots can lose a pick. You know, it's only fair.
He's lost control.
New England will be fine, by the way,
had a good look at that,
because
it was just a throw after the
New
tackle.
England does have a 2nd round pick, and this is the draft to lose a 1st round pick because there is not a lot of high end talent. Again, I'll keep repeating myself because there's going to be people joining in and out of this live stream every so often. There are 5 blue chip guys in this draft. New England has no shot at them. So, you know, they lose a draft pick. Oh well. They're gonna get a guy that's gonna plug and play in the 2nd round, and it's probably because they're smart. They have a good front office. They'll probably be at a position that's deep in this draft and not weak in this draft. You know what? Scratcher right there. What do you mean? There's a team that's actually going to follow the philosophy of best player available,
Well, it was easy on the eye,
and actually have a decent ranking system. Yeah, New England does it every year. Every year they pick the right. They don't pick the right guy every year, but they always pick a guy that's reasonably ranked on the chart and fits their scheme. Whether it works out or not, that's not the point, because you don't know that after you pick them anyways. But the draft philosophy of best player available or guy that fits needs, I think New England's the closest to doing both of those at the same time. Because a lot of the guys that they pick are the best player available and a need for them. How does that work out? That's how they do. They do a great job with it. I'm thinking this might be the last game, guys. I have seen people popping in and out of the stream. I'm appreciative to everyone that's watched it. Again, anyone watching the streams whenever I'm on, please just throw a message. Let's see if we can get some content in this video besides Chris Cooper screaming about Joey Bosa and Paxton Lynch all the time. For anyone new, again, I stream soccer over as the visual for me to talk about sport happenings and life happenings and other hobbies I have happenings, and with the idea that through Friday, probably through Monday of next week, this is going to be draft heavy, because the draft is a passion of mine, and I have a mock that I put up that I will be announcing on a live stream next week. I put up my first one in one of the videos before this. Go check it out. Maybe if you want to comment on the first one to let me know what you think I did wrong. And then when I get that second one done, guys, let's get the great debate going, because that's the one I'm going with the draft. Barring trades. If there's big trades that affect the first round, whether it's draft picks being moved or players filling needs immediately, then I'll just leave it alone. But if that happens, I'll switch those things around, just those things. And we're shooting for 75% player to number success. So I am saying that 3/4 of the time I want the player going to the slot number, because I suspect that this will be a heavy first round of trades, teams moving up and down to get to players that they want, and I think that means that picking the team they're going to go to is a little abstract. It's going to be a little harder. Maybe when I'm better at this, I'll be able to predict the trades and the teams too. But I'm just going to go ahead and say where they're going to fall in the draft. And then I'm shooting for 75%. It's my first draft, though, that I've done this. I can't say with any certainty that I've ever hit 75% in a draft before. So we'll see. But there's always next year to improve on it. And maybe I'll get better at the techniques. Maybe through you guys watching my stream and telling me about your philosophies on how to follow the draft, I can get better at it, and then next year we'll hit it even stronger, and maybe eventually we'll have a system strong enough to where we can say we want to go for 100%. We want to get absolute certainty, and maybe that someday that'll happen, and I'll have, it's not like I'm going to get anything for it, but it would be nice to be able to say it happened. And I want to document it. I want to document all this stuff because I want my opinion to be out there about these players, so that if it ever comes across that people are like, well, no one ever said that, I can at least have it documented and be like, well, I said that. I said that this was going to be a bad pick, or this was a good pick, or, you know, this didn't make any sense. You know, I want that to be my case. But with the halftime almost coming on this game, I want to talk about what happened in this live stream. I was playing for Hamilton at the beginning of this live stream. Was at Hamilton, played 35 games in Hamilton in the Scottish Premier League.
Very good first.
I scored 59 goals. I had 21 assists.
Look at that scoreline
when I was on loan. I didn't know what on loan meant. I thought that meant that South Hamilton didn't want me. It turns out that it meant another team wanted me, so I went and played for them for a year. Finished the year. So year 2 starts. Southam has, I'm at 80 overall. And if you look at that right there on the board, I scored 3 goals in my second game with Southam. I'm on fire. I'm doing it. I'm winning. I'm winning life. I got my jersey number back, and my first video, I made my guy 99. As soon as I got to Hamilton, they made me 13. I wore 13 all of my first season, and now I'm back to 99. Good old 99. That was my soccer number in high school. I made the character a forward, a creator forward, with my high school stats: 6'3", 210. He's not as fast as most of the guys in the league because he's taller, but he is he's a lot of fun to play. He scores a lot of goals. He does a lot of damage. Early in his career, we were calling him the 3-foot assassin because he couldn't make anything without being within 3 feet of the goalie. I still do that a lot, but I have scored from the 18 box. I have scored from slightly beyond it. I've been part of a couple penalty kicks. Later in my Hamilton career, I had a lot of penalty kicks. I think I had like 4 or 5 penalty kicks in Hamilton. Which was fun. That was cool. I wasn't expecting to be taking any penalty kicks in year 1, but I got to, so that was fun. And like I said, I got 3 goals in this game. You guys saw that. I'm thinking about upping the difficulty in my next video, maybe, because now I am in Southam, so I should make it harder. But I am kind of liking the opportunity to score. But it's not rookie. It's on the second one. Wow, what a goal! What a goal! Top left corner where Mama hides the cookies. Woo! That was a great kick. Is that Pele? Is that how you say that name? Guys, if I said that name right, let me know in the comments. Because I know Pele. That's so cool.
And coming up for you on EA Sports, that Premier League fixture for Southampton. They'll be facing Newcastle United away from home.
Well, that's cool, man.
Really looking forward to this one. I think we're going to see some good
Pele,
football.
I guess.
One team really on their game today.
But yeah.
Very off color.
Again, well, you know, streamers in and out. I'm really excited to see all the guys popping in and check out the video. Anyone that comes in when I'm just talking and rambling and stuff, please, I refer you to the beginning or ends of these videos. I have talked about the NFL draft. I've talked about Major League Baseball. I've talked about the NBA. I've talked about the passing of Prince and China and what they mean to me as a person. I've talked about D&D. I've talked about anxieties and stresses. I've asked openly for the community to come at me, talk to me about stuff. And then we talk about this man on the field right now and how he finally made it to Southam after scoring 59 goals with Hamilton. 59 goals in 35 games. He averaged more than a goal a game. There was a lot of games where he scored a lot more than a goal. But there was a couple of games where I went pass happy too. I just started passing the ball away. And then there was games that the second half I kind of just took the ball in defense and didn't move it up forward either. So there's that. I don't know. I'm really happy to finally be on Southam. I'm happy to have my number back at 99. I want to get to know the players on my team a little bit. I did ask if it is pronounced Pele or is it Pele? There's an accent over a second E, so I might be misinterpreting how to say his name. I'm getting a lot of shots still. I am still able to outrun players and get close to the goal. I'm still having trouble shooting away from the goal though. I'm having to be pretty close to have any success with shooting. As I said, at the end of being at Hamilton in the Scottish Premier League, I was shooting from the 18 and having a little bit of success. So I'm hoping that as I progress in the Premier League, I will get farther away from the goal.
Substitution shortly to come.
Yeah. So, a breakaway again. You can't stop me on these breakaways. I'm just going to keep taking them. And I don't really necessarily care if I score. It's 4-1. I win. Like, if I keep having breakaway opportunities and corner kicks, we're in control of the ball. We win the game. But here's an example of what I'm talking about. I'm going to get the ball out here past the 18, and I'm going to shoot. Now, that was a poor shot on my part. Like, I didn't put enough power on it. But in Hamilton, I did make a couple of those, coming off corner kicks. Just taking the short pass and basically at the corner there of the 18, pulling up and shooting. I think I made 2 of them from there. My teammate, Pele, the guy that I'm trying to get the name for, had a beautiful shot from outside the 18 to get the 4th goal of the game for us. It's very impressive to see. I haven't passed the ball a whole bunch in this game. I am a creative forward, but and I did lead Hamilton in assists. So realistically, as far as being a creative forward went, I was as creative as I needed to be. I'm going to shoot this. Oh goodness. Oh man. Oh, let's hope that there's no one hurt. Oh, I got simmed out. But that's it. 4-1 right now. That should be a win. All right, cool. So, I don't know what's going on. What's the green ones? What is the green ones? I don't know what the green ones are. But the last couple have been green. Is this the tournament that we're in right now? Cool. Well, normally I end my live streams with me doing the training that I have access to, and then I usually sign off. This one actually, if it's a decent training, I might get to 81 before the night's over, and that will make me super happy because I have climbed from the holes of being in 65 overall to the greatness that is 80, and maybe the supreme greatness that is 81. No, I'm still in 80, but that's okay. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to stream here. Expect. I don't know if there'll be a video this weekend. Maybe not. But Monday for sure there will be another live stream. Expect it to be. What would it be? 1 o'clock or a 2 o'clock start East Coast in America, and then figure it out time-wise from there. 1 or 2 o'clock start East Coast. I'm in New Mexico, but I said East Coast because I don't want to confuse anybody else. Where Monday I will be posting my mock draft. That should be the last mock draft I have to make, barring any major trades that impact the first round. Again, first round draft, I will go over each pick I make, discuss why it's been made there, and leave it to you, the people that are watching this video, to tell me if I am right. And then Thursday after the draft, or Friday after the draft, probably Friday, I will be doing a review of the draft versus my draft, talk about the numbers, see how many I got right, shooting for 75%, and then reviewing each team's picks that they actually made in the first round. And then we'll talk about the whole draft as a whole, because to me the first round is fun, but it's only the beginning. Greatness in this draft is the second and third rounds. That'll be Friday. So don't expect a whole lot until Monday for the draft, but Friday you could hear about the first round if you're paying attention. Have a good night, guys.